What are the chances we make it? 1%.
Destination, Congress. Probability of arrival, 1%.
1%. Yeah.
It's true. I have a solid 1% chance in winning this thing.
Put up to the rally like the race was locked. Whole campaign team fit inside one parking spot. Fresh new suit, little flag on the chest. Poll came back 1% at best. Still got the bus, still got the signs. Still telling everybody we're doing just fine. Reporter said, so you're down 99. He said, that just means it's comeback time. Spit 10 bands on the victory stage. Got the concession speech sitting on the same damn page. Mom said, baby, I know you can win. Even mom wouldn't put $10 in.
What are the chances? 1%. What are the odds? 1%.
What are the chances?
What are the chances? 1%.
One little vote, one little dream, one only dude on the campaign. What are the chances? 1%. What are the odds? What are the odds? 1%. What are the chances?
1%. Want to lose a primary by a lot? Go fully pro-Islam. Whoa, seriously? Go full Nazi and know nothing else except hate for Israel.
Say we still got a shot. No, you don't.
It's true. I have a solid 1% chance in winning this thing, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So who's the winner? The guy that openly hates Jews and wants to Islamify the whole planet, or the other guy who loves America and was endorsed by Trump? I don't know. You tell me.
You tell me. You tell me. What's up? What's up? How's everybody doing? It's great to see everybody here tonight. You caught the opening. That's awesome. Thanks for being here, Mary. Awesome to have you. There's Bella just chilling. You hate rap? Well, you know, I can't pick the music. I just thought it was funny with the 1% stuff, so that's why I played it. What's up, Karen O? How you doing? Totally hosing squirrel, not so useful. No, it's not useful. What's up, Dog Digger? I'm earning my money today. Oh, wait, I didn't get paid anything. Both Rob and David on at the same time. Circus time. Wow, there you go. There you go. Man, that'd be great to get a raid from both those people. Just saying. What's up, Jay Schwartz? Good to see you, too. Thanks for being here, though, Dog Digger. It's awesome. Jay Schwartz, good to see you, too. Let's see who else is here. Essie Gatlin's here. Jonathan Marcus is here. Karen O is here. Miss Hacker's here. Yeah, CF Rob is here. Awesome. Awesome to see you all. So we got a bunch of news stories to talk about tonight. A whole bunch of news stories. We're going to get into them like real quick, fast, in a hurry. We got a lot to talk about. But hey, Ted, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Got a whole bunch of stories, but as it is every night, there is a goal. And the way the show works is for every $100 in total across all platforms, including, YouTube Super Chats, Rumble Rants, becoming a member or gifting memberships on YouTube, Rumble, Kick, or Twitch, along with Locals memberships or Locals coins, Cash App, PayPal, Coffee, Ko-Fi, and Super Tips. We add it all up and we hit 100. We add an extra hour. Then for each additional $100 that comes in, we add another additional hour to the show. So the show could be as long as you guys want it to be. It can be 2 hours long, could be 3 hours long, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 24, 36, 48, hike. You name it. That's how long the show is. And as an added bonus, when we hit 50, we activate Bellavision. You can see she's getting ready. She's preparing to attack. But if somebody is so generous that they donate $25 as an individual, which could be like 5 memberships, gifted memberships on YouTube, Rumble, Kick, or Twitch. It could be like, a $10 super chat and 3 gifted memberships. It could be a $20 super chat. It could be a $20 super chat or a Rumble Rant or Cash App or a PayPal. So like $20, $25, something like that comes in. Bam, bam, boom. We activate Bellavision automatically. I thank you all. I remind you to please hit the like button. Please subscribe. And, please stick around because we got a lot of news to talk about. See, Bella's moving. Now she's digging a hole. She's getting ready. She's digging in for the long action tonight. I was humorous. I know. You're good. Jim seems to be growing like 0.1K every day or two when he bothers to post. Who, me? No, we went up to 2,800 today. I think 2,800 subs. We get like 5, 10 subs a day. It seems like something like that, somewhere around there. So we'll see. So the first news story of the evening is the Obama-appointed judge blocks Kash Patel's plan to move FBI headquarters to the Reagan building instead of building a new one. Hands Maryland demon rats a major victory. Yeah, so this judge basically is like, no, you have to move the FBI to Maryland. You have to spend this money and move it there. Like, I have a feeling, my opinion, that this is going to get overturned. So here we go again. An Obama-appointed federal judge has blocked the FBI's plan to move their headquarters into the existing Ronald Reagan building in Washington, D.C., a move Patel said would save the American taxpayers billions of dollars. Like, why would you not want to save billions of dollars? Like, it doesn't make sense. Why would we want to spend billions? Why? Why would we want to, why would we not want to save billions of dollars? Great to see the Bella and Frisky video. Yeah, well, that's actually not Bella and Frisky. That's Charlie and Frisky. That's when Frisky was a kitty cat. Bella was not born yet. Patel speaks good. No, I don't know. Could be. So Judge Theodore Chwang sided Monday with the demon rat-controlled state of Maryland. Those jurisdictions have been leading location for a brand had been the leading location for a brand new multi-billion-dollar FBI campus in Greenbelt until Patel and the GSA decided last year to keep the headquarters inside the District of Columbia at a fraction of the cost. Chwang vacated the July 2025 selection of the Reagan building, blocked any renovations or relocations there, and erased the reprogramming of the $550 million in funds. He declared the decisions not in accordance with the law. Like, where does this judge think he gets off telling them where they no, you can't locate what this is like beyond like judicial overreach. The ruling effectively restores the path to the Biden era Greenbelt site, even though Congress has still not fully funded the construction project. The ruling does not explicitly order the FBI to begin building. It does, however, destroy Patel's Reagan building plan unless the administration wins on appeal or persuades Congress to change the law. The FBI immediately fired back. An FBI spokesperson accused the court of choosing impermissibly intervene for political reasons and said the FBI would continue to seek the best available options for law enforcement. Yes, the judiciary is 100% corrupted by ideologues. It is. This is the biggest problem right now. The biggest problem right now is the judiciary. It is how shall I say, killing us, literally killing us. So the Reagan complex is an existing federally owned property located only a few blocks away from the current headquarters. Administration officials argued that repurposing it would avoid billions in new construction expenses and more than $300 million in deferred maintenance at the Hoover building. But Maryland demon rats had thousands of jobs and enormous economic windfall riding on the Greenbelt mega project, and they immediately ran to federal court to keep it alive. Maryland Attorney General Anthony Brown celebrated Chwang's decision, claiming it cleared the path for the headquarters to return to Greenbelt. The headquarters was never there. The building isn't built. This is ridiculous. Congress made a promise. The Trump administration tried to break it. This is crazy. Look at that. Jonathan Marcus with a gifted membership. Thank you. With that, that means, folks, we are now just $94 away from adding a first additional hour to the show and just $44 away from Bellavision. Let's see who got that gifted membership. It says it went to Big Howard. Well, Big Howard, welcome to the JimSomniacs, courtesy of Jonathan Marcus. Yes, like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Of course, the promise could leave taxpayers responsible for the proposed headquarters that Patel said would cost $5 billion and remain unfinished until 2035. This is crazy. Look at this, Jonathan with another one. Look at that. So that means, folks, that is now $88 away from adding a first additional hour and $38 away from Bellavision. Thank you so much. Let's see who got this one. This one went to Ted Pallas. Ted Pallas. Welcome to the JimSomniacs, Ted Pallas. And thank you, Jonathan Marcus. Yes. Pat says, I was green for a long time. I think YouTube decided I don't deserve a gift membership. Well, the problem, yes, welcome, Ted. The problem, Pat, is that the more subscribers the channel gets, the more people get like the chances to get it. Like it's crazy, like the amount of, how they work it. I don't even know. You would think they would just give it to the people in the that are in the chat, but I don't know. Yes, Ted says, thank you, brother. Well, thank you. Woot, woot, woot. What's up, Jim? Good to see you. According to GAO, 80% of federal office space is vacant. Why can't they use that before they spend $5 billion? Well, that's what they're trying to do. There's vacancies at the Reagan building, so that's why they want to do it there. What's it say? Byron Donald's at 49.7, Jay Collins at 27.3, 20% of the results in. Yeah. Byron Donalds is going to walk away with it. He's going to walk away with the victory. I guess I need to open another account to pass on memos. Maybe it may take some time. Yes, welcome, Big Howard. Oh, look at this now. Karen O with a gifted membership. Thank you so much. With Karen's generous donation, that means we're now just 82 away from adding a first additional hour and just 32 away from Bellavision. And let's see who got that one. It says Phil Coggins. Phil Coggins received a gifted membership from Karen O. So welcome to the JimSomniacs, Phil. You'd think they would let you select someone in chat who's not a member. That would be great if they would let you select the people, that you pick who to give it to. Like, I think you could do that on Twitch, that you pick who gets it on Twitch. But what's up, Joe? Thanks for being here. So, as the pundit previously reported, Patel announced in May that the FBI would leave the unsafe Hoover building while relocating approximately 1,500 Washington area employees to the field offices around the country, and that previously proposed turning notorious headquarters into a deep state museum. Yes. Look at this. Now we got another gifted membership over here from America First. Thank you so much, AF. How you doing? That means with that, we are now just $76 away from adding a first additional hour and just 26 away from Bellavision. Thank you so much. Let's see who got this one. It says that the real Kara Fro. Oh, moderator to the stars. The real Kara Fro received a gifted membership. So welcome to the JimSomniacs, Kara. Oh. That's right. So it says, don't mess with the streak. That's good. They stole my thunder. Donald should be called soon when the polls close in Central Standard Time. Yeah, he'll be called soon. He's going to win. So look at this. We got 250 joules from Ted. Thank you so much, Ted. Well, I believe that's $2.50. So that would mean that we are now $73.50 away and $24.50. No, $23.50 away from Bellavision. Thank you so much for the jewels. Byron was my first choice for VP with Vance second. Yeah, I like Byron Donalds. He's a good guy. I've met him, talked to him. Well, Rob is done. Here comes the conveyors. That's awesome. I can't wait to see him. Look at this. We got another one. Stay hydrated. Thank you. Thank you so much. But that means now we are 68 away from adding a first additional hour. And just 18 away from Bellavision. Thank you so much. Yes. Please like, share, subscribe. All the good. Which primaries today? I believe today is Florida, Minnesota, maybe even Alaska. I think Alaska might be today too, but I know Florida, Minnesota. Oh, look at this. Ted comes through hot and heavy, says Bellavision it is, with 10 gifted memberships. Well, thank you. So that means right now, folks, we are just $8 away from adding a first additional hour to the show, and Bellavision is completely activated. So we're just 8 away from a first additional hour, thanks to Ted. Hey, what's up, Matt? Great to see you. Good evening, everyone. Let's see who got those gifted memberships from Ted. It says that from Ted, Red Alert received a membership. Slow-Mo Savage, B.A. Turner, Stig 62 2050, Leon Lately, Proxy Loxy, Whoa Angela, Lavart, GP 7KF, Otto Bahn, and Roy Gain all received gifted memberships. So thanks you, Ted Pallas, and welcome all the new JimTellsYou. Yes, thank you, Ted. It says Robert Gavea has rated the stream. That is fantastic. Florida, Wyoming, California, runoff, and Alaska. I thought Minnesota was today, too. Maybe I was wrong about Minnesota. For some reason, I thought Minnesota. Thank you to everybody who came over from Robert Gavea. So now Chug has slammed the brakes on the entire operation. It's just crazy that they think they could do this. They're just going to go ahead and, and do this stuff. Because right here, like it says, Trump tried to save billions on FBI headquarters, and a judge has blocked him. This is crazy. Welcome to the JimTellsYou. Give Robert a follow. That's right. Give Robert Gavea a follow if you haven't already. He's an awesome dude. He does awesome work. And I really appreciate everybody that comes over from Robert. And please hit the like and please subscribe. So President Trump and Kash Patel chose an existing federal building, saying that the move would save the taxpayers billions of dollars. And on Monday, Judge Theodore Chwang told them that they couldn't do it. Chwang was appointed to the bench by Barack Hussein Obama. He issued a permanent injunction blocking the move to the Reagan building. So U.S. District Judge sided with the Demon Rats and said, no, you can't save billions of dollars. Hey, thanks, Tak Cho. Thanks for being here. So the judge said the selection of the Reagan building violated measures passed by Congress that required the GSA to pick from one of 3 shortlisted sites outside of Washington. Oh, okay. Notably, the text provides no conditions under which the selection could be rescinded or switched to the non-conforming site. Oh, really? That's how they think, right? I don't think it's going to happen. Hey, look at that. We got a huge raid coming in from Robert Gavea. I want to hope you guys will all stick around and hit the like button, maybe subscribe. We are currently only $8 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. Right now, we're talking about this crazy Obama judge who just decided that he can tell the executive branch where the FBI has to be located, even though the building he's telling them they have to be located in doesn't even exist yet. It won't be done until 2035. And it's a disaster having the people in the Hoover building right now. So they're trying to move them out to keep them safe. And they're basically trying to force it to happen. That's right. We got a raid. We got a raid from the Gavea Meister. We did. We got a raid. Thank you so much from Robert Gavea for the raid. Boomer alert, emergency. What's up? What's wrong with the boomers? Whatever happened to that museum with the wall of shame that Kash promised us? Well, that's what they said they were going to turn the Hoover building into, which would be awesome. Yes, they won't let Trump do anything without a lawsuit. That's right. They won't. So Maryland Attorney General celebrated it. Congress made a promise. Congress promised us. Well, did they? Did they make a promise? They didn't allocate all the money to do it. So it's kind of going to be hey, what's up, Duck Fat? Good to see you. Richard Tatership says Raiders of the Lost Republic. That would be nice. Whenever I feel upset and I feel a little angry about, what's happening, and I'm seeing what's happening with the country, and I'm seeing these problems that are being caused, and these demon rats, and they're running to their buddies and the judiciary to get these things happen. It makes me hungry. This fire burns inside me. And the only thing that can satisfy those hunger pains for me personally, is some biltong. And the only place I know of to get real good premium biltong is from the king of biltong at www.biltongusa.com. All right. You can head over there. It's 50% protein. It's awesome. It's great for you. It's good stuff. All right. And if you like a little bit of spice, get the peri peri. If you like a lot of spice, check out the ghost pepper or the Carolina Reaper. All right. And also get the drowers and the cabanasi. And they also have ribeye steaks you can get. They have other types of, cakes, candy, snacks, cookies, and all kinds of things from around the world. They ship right to your door. And if you use promo code Jim, you'll save 10%. So head on over to biltongusa.com and use promo code Jim and get yourself some premium meats shipped direct to your door. Tell them Jim sent you. Late with the Gavea raid. Don't worry, Brenda. It's always great to have you here. I'm a younger boomer. To be honest, if I were Trump, I would have fired the entire FBI when I came back in. The ballroom lawsuit's ridiculous. The lady thinks the White House has an HOA. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't see how that's going to keep going. I don't. Hit the thumbs up buttons. That's right. Hit them up there. So Chang didn't put the restriction from thin air. Congress directed GSA to select a new headquarters from Greenbelt, Maryland. But the Trump administration looked at a fourth option, existing federal building. The FBI says moving into the Reagan building would save billions in new construction costs and avoid more than $300 million in deferred maintenance at the crumbling Hoover building. Maryland Attorney General in Prince George's County brought the case. After winning on Monday, Brown celebrated the return of the jobs, investments, and opportunity to Maryland. Like, this is ridiculous. These people just think that our tax dollars and our government is nothing but a big pot for them to steal money from. It's a big grift for them to get money from. It needs to stop. We need to. Jim, you going to share your free stuff with us, at least a film cooking video? You use your pineapples? I am when I do get the next shipment from King of Biltong. It's supposed to be some steaks and stuff and maybe some chicken. I don't know what else he's sending, but whatever it is, I'm going to cook it up and I'm going to film it for you guys. That's what's going to happen. The ballroom lawsuit is to slow down enough so that Trump can't use it a single time. That's probably what it is. Polls are closed in Florida. That's awesome. Yes, like, share, sub. There we go. Do all that stuff. That's what we want to see. We want to see everybody. We want to see everybody getting tipsy. That's right. Maryland does not deserve any more money. They do not. High five. Thank you for the 100 joules. That is $1. So I will do this. We are now just $7 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. So thank you so much. That'd be fun and a great advert for the Biltong. Well, I'm going to try. I still think Trump should arrest everybody on the autopin pardons and pardon the people who arrest them. Oh, that would be good. So Chang's own opinion makes Maryland's economic interest explicit. While weighing whether to impose a permanent injunction, he found that moving ahead with the Reagan building would deprive Maryland of substantial economic benefits. Like, this is crazy. This is not the judge's job. It's not the federal government's job to provide economic interest to the states. Congress controls federal spending. Presidents don't get to raise statutes. So Chung expressly wrote that his injunction can be revisited if Congress rescinds or changes the site selection provisions. Members of Congress should make that choice in the daylight. If they believe taxpayers must finance a new Greenbelt complex, even after the FBI said the existing building will save billions, then let them vote for it and explain why. What bothers me is how easy Washington turns an old government decision into something nearly untouchable. A new president takes office, his FBI director identifies an existing property that the FBI can use, and then one district judge just comes along and says, nope, you can't do it. Maryland can fight for Maryland. Brown is doing his job, but Trump was elected to run the executive branch, and it's his job to try to save money. Trump should just flip off the judge and do the ballroom. Well, the ballroom's still being built, and supposedly the Supreme Court's looking at it, and they had till today. The dog walking lady or whatever had till today to file her paper. So I don't know what happened with that. Ashley Moody, 79%. Gleason, 13%. Yeah, Ashley Moody seems to have been doing a pretty decent job. Donald slips to 49.5%. Wow. If Congress wants Greenbelt, Congress should say so again. That's right. This is. All right. Now, we got another thing. A next story we got going on here is Minnesota Attorney General is suing. The Minnesota Attorney General, that Islamist Antifa guy, is suing Greg Abbott because Greg Abbott's refusing to extradite an ICE officer so that Minnesota can prosecute him. It's very odd.
Instead of promptly fulfilling his legal ministerial duty to execute governor's rendition warrant for Castro, however, Governor Abbott has withheld the warrant and held up Castro's extradition for nearly 3 months. The framers of the Constitution, the U.S. Constitution, and Congress intended the interstate extradition process to be swift, summary one, in which a state that is harboring a person charged with a crime in another state promptly returns the fugitive.
Well, gee, I remember specifically when Texas wanted the doctor that was prescribing drugs that were illegal in Texas for abortions, which Texas considers a crime. They refused to extradite the doctor to Texas so the doctor could be prosecuted. So this is just Texas paying it back. Like, okay, you won't give us the people we want to prosecute for breaking laws in our state. We're not going to extradite people back to you that you want. This is just Texas. Yes. How is that guy not in prison? He framed a cop for a crime the coroner said didn't happen. Oh, I agree. All the bullshit economic plans for Maryland were flops. Most of the jobs went to illegals and increased vice and crime. The I-95 corridor is a cancer. Good for our governor. That's what I say. The dog walker was removed from her position. There you go. Trump could poke out and exponentially increase the size of the United States for all I care. Who's going to do a thing about it? There you go. Hey, what's up, Kofi? Holding it down on Kick. Thanks for being there. Where's Bella? Oh, shit. I'm bad. I forgot. We had Bella Vision. I am so sorry. I'm sorry. I totally forgot to put Bella on the screen. I am sorry. My bad. Bad Jim. The ICE agent identifies as non-transferable. Yes. There you go. Hey, what's up, Kevin? Good to see you. I like how the governor seems to be smirking at him. It's great, isn't it?
As soon as requesting state demands it, the U.S. Supreme Court unanimously upheld this black letter law as recently as 1987. This means the Governor Abbott has a mandatory obligation to issue the governor's rendition warrant for Castro. He has no discretion. I repeat, he has no discretion to decline to do so. None. Yet Castro is still not here to face justice. Governor Walz's office has repeatedly asked Governor Abbott's office for updates. Governor Abbott did not respond. On July 30th, Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty wrote Governor Abbott requesting an update. Governor Abbott did not respond. Last Thursday, August 13th, I sent Governor Abbott a letter, which is available for your review, to inform him that of his mandatory legal obligation to effectuate the return of Christian Castro to Minnesota to face justice, whether or not he needed the lesson. I cited all relevant constitutional and legal authorities that leave him no discretion in this matter. I informed him that if he did not sign the rendition warrant by the end of the day, yesterday, I would sue to compel him to do so. Governor Abbott did not respond. Christian Castro is still not here to face justice. Therefore, this morning, my office filed suit asking the federal court in Texas to require Governor Abbott to sign the warrant to block the
I don't think you can force the governor to sign the warrant.
Cameron County Sheriff from releasing Castro until Minnesota law enforcement can arrive there to physically transport Castro here to face the charges laid against him.
Wow. I don't think they can force him to sign the warrant. He could say no. He's the governor of the state. He can say no. I'm not doing it. I don't think you can force him to do it. I really don't. Look at this red alert says Bella clearly needs a snack. Bella doesn't need a snack, but thank you so much for the 5. With that 5, that means we are now just $2 away, folks. Just $2 away from adding a first additional hour to the show tonight. We're moving right along. Jim has to keep Bella up on screen for 10 minutes after the show's over. I'll do something. We'll figure it out. Sue away. That's what you do. Let him sue. Texas AG should, and the Texas Army National Guard should JDM this year. Definitely. Trump is almost a lame duck from all the lawfare and activists. That's the whole point. That's the thing. This was their plan to try to do this stuff and to, basically drag it out until, until Trump, doesn't have any choice but to just deal with it. So charge all those Minnesota officials with conspiracy to commit kidnapping. That's what I would do. Yes, I want my $2. That's from a movie, Better Off Dead. This is the same prosecutor refused to appropriately charge everyone in assault at Savannah Hernandez. They only manipulate them all when possible. Yeah. Same prosecutor refused to charge a single soul with attacking me inside my vehicle at the ICE facility. Yeah. So showdown, Minnesota's radical attorney general sues Texas Governor Abbott to force extradition of ICE agent. Hey, look at this. Richard Tatership, thank you.
Tactical assessment. Red Chinese victory. Impossible. America will never fall to communist invasion. Communism is the very definition of failure.
Thank you so much with that 5, folks. That means we are now just $97 away from adding a second additional hour to the show. Thank you so much. And then Kevin goes extra hour, but he missed it. Thank you, though. For that, too, that means we are now just $95 away from adding a second additional hour to the show. Thank you so much. So awesome. Thanks for doing it. Doc says, member for 7 months. Good evening. Howdy. Well, thanks, Doc, and thanks for being a member. Let them catch the agent like the agents are required to do for the illegals because they let them out of jail. There you go. Make them come down and get them. Obstructing national security is what the ballroom lawsuit is. That's it. It is definitely. He's a federal employee. He should sue DHS. Yeah, it's 100%. It's the point to make Trump as ineffective as possible. That's what they're trying to do. Was that Jesse Ventura voicing that line? No, that's Liberty Prime from the Fallout series. Liberty Prime. Yes, thank you, Regine. Yes. Fauci's former advisor pleads guilty. I know I'm going to want to get to that story. That broke after I had already started the show, so I didn't get a chance to get that up there. But we'll get to that story. We already got the first hour. So Biden was a lame senile duck. Trump is the president we need for today. That's right. So Minnesota's left-wing attorney general announced that he's going to file a lawsuit against Texas Governor Greg Abbott and force the extradition of the ICE agent involved in a shooting earlier this year. As previously reported, the ICE agent charged in the non-fatal shooting of a Venezuelan illegal alien was arrested in Texas in May. Earlier this year, Soros-funded prosecutor charged an ICE agent with the non-fatal shooting of the Venezuelan illegal alien she claimed was legally in the United States. No, he wasn't. He was a legal alien. On November 4th, majority or not, I want the DOJ to arrest all the MFers. Want to call him a dictator? Let it ride. There you go. I know we need the police to arrest prosecutors to prosecute and judges to give some real consequences. Yeah, it would be nice, but they only want to do it. They only want to do it against people they shouldn't be doing it against. So, in January, ICE agents, Moriarty charged the agent with 4 counts of second-degree assault and 1 count of falsely reporting a crime. In January, ICE agents were involved in a shooting in Minneapolis. Governor Walz claimed the agents were going door to door, ordering people to point out where their neighbors of color lived, which was just a lie. So, according to Fox, Bill Malugin, agents shot a shovel-wielding Venezuelan after he assaulted law enforcement officers. DHS releases the names and backgrounds of the 3 illegal aliens they say attacked the ICE agents in Minneapolis. A criminal legal alien, Julio Cesar Sola Celes, previously convicted for driving without a license, arrested for 2 counts of giving a false name to a police officer, was the subject of a targeted enforcement operation. He was released by the Minnesota authorities before ICE could even lodge a detainer. He illegally entered the United States in August under 2022 and under the Biden administration. And you got Alfredo Alejandro Adrona, a legal alien from Venezuela, illegally entered the United States in May 2023 under the Biden administration. He failed to show up for his immigration hearing. He was issued a final removal order by an immigration judge. Then we got Gabriel Alenando Hernandez Ledamezga, a legal alien from Venezuela, illegally entered the U.S. in May of 2023 under the Biden administration. The Biden administration marked this illegal alien as a non-enforcement priority. Well, the most corrupt administration in history. There you go. This lady died protecting dangerous gang members. That's what she did. That's what she did. So Keith Ellison said Texas must extradite Christian Castro. Christian Castro's been charged with breaking the law in Minnesota. Well. Biden trans auto pen was a lame duck if the law was to be followed. Yeah, we should be. Really throttling here now? Is it really? Are you serious? Oh man, they're kicking people off again. YouTube always does that whenever I'm having a good night. They really do that. I can't believe YouTube does that crap to me. Just it pulls this crap trying to make my yeah. Look at that. It went boom. Wow, really throttling across. Man, it dumped. I could see it. I could see it in the analytics. If ICE wants a bunch of freebies to show up at Sam's Club or Home Depot in Sandusky, Ohio. I see Pedro Fiel and Juan Wick. Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's what I say. Mm-hmm. So he must face consequences. Well, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens with this. Minnesota Attorney General sues Greg Abbott to extradite the ICE officer. Like, I don't understand why they're even able to charge the ICE officer with the crime. Like, to me, where's Bella? Oh, she's back in her bed. I'm sorry. Gigi's mom. I'm sorry. I didn't know. She keeps moving around. She's very active today. She's like bouncing all over the place. There she is. Sorry about it. Randy Fine is at 38%. Wow. Pedro file. There you go. No throttling. Okay, good. It's really fine. Everything is great. Awesome. Nasty cat fight breaks between hijab wearing. Oh, that sounds good. That sounds like a good story. Wow. So Ellison wants Texas to hand over the immigration officer accused of shooting an illegal immigrant in Minnesota earlier this year. Ellison filed a lawsuit. Christian Cash has been charged with breaking the law. The Department of Homeland Security indicated Castro had been ambushed by these 3 illegal aliens who beat the agent with snow shovels. Video evidence and medical evaluation contradicted the claim. During the skirmish, he fled to a nearby building. Castro shot him in the leg through the door. Hennepin County prosecutors charged Castro with 4 counts of second-degree assault. Like, this is if the federal government's who is allowing this to happen? This has to be someone in the federal government even allowing the charges to stand. The feds should have went into court and had the case dismissed because he was doing his job. If anything, the only place he should face any charge would be charged under federal charges because he was operating under the color of federal law. Bella's trying to get comfortable, yeah. If ICE wants people, I would say to check the Infosys and DFW and check the need for 21,000 H-1Bs. Yeah, definitely. So, Governor Abbott's trying to shield Castro from being held accountable. Well, Texas governor's violating federal law. Actually, not really. Why can't the DOJ get the case tossed? That's what I'm saying. The DOJ could get the case tossed if the DOJ wanted to. All they would have to do is go in and say, hey, he was acting in his official duties. House Majority Whip Tom Emmer slammed Ellison over the suit, chiding the AG has done very little in the course of his tenure except prosecute cops. He doesn't like cops. The only other thing he doesn't like is Donald Trump. It's interesting that he's going to once again use the state resources to chase a law enforcement officer across state lines. It's more of a political statement in my mind than a real claim. Hey, what's up, Pet Rescue? Good to see you. You're never going to get a straight story from these people, so you really have to do the full and fair investigation. Oh, well, wait a minute. You're surprised. How are you going to do investigation? And I can't get into it until they do a full and fair investigation. That's right. You can't believe what Ellison says to be true. That's right. Ellison just wants to charge people politically, just like he did to Derek Chauvin. Mhm. All right. Now we got a next story here. So let's see. The feds need to do something with this. All right. The feds need to step in. The feds need to say, you can't prosecute our guy. If not, they need to explain why they're giving up one of their guys who was just doing their job. That's what I would say. All right. Now we got this next story is really, really, really good news, people. Really good news, which people have been trying to ignore it. They've been trying to ignore it. I don't know why. I don't. Trump reveals huge win on drug prices. That's right. Drug prices, people, have dropped more than they have. Like the biggest drop in drug prices since like the 60s. Since the 60s. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? When the White House revealed Monday that consumer prescription prices actually dropped over the last 12 months, I did a double take because drug prices just don't do that. No, they don't. Not in my lifetime. That's right. They don't drop. You know, the Daily Record reported that Friday that prescription drug prices recorded the biggest year-over-year drop in more than 60 years. 60 years. A startling reduction experts chalked up to an array of factors, which we'll get to in a second. We'll talk about it. But drug prices have not fallen this fast in 6 decades, according to the data. I'm 57, so I wasn't exaggerating when I said it didn't happen in my lifetime. I'm not 57. This person is 57. Let's get that straight. Naturally, the administration trumpeted the good news as a direct result of Trump's bold action on drug prices, which is great. Try to get ivermectin still kept from people due to the docs not wanting to prescribe it. Well, get a different doctor. Now, if a doctor refuses to give you ivermectin, I would fire the doctor. What's been happening before Trump is the United States has been paying high prices in order to subsidize the rest of the world so they can have cheap drugs, which is true. Yes. We basically pay for drugs so that the rest of the world gets cheap drugs. What's up, Mark? How you doing? Meds are sugar pills these days. A lot of them are. A lot of them it's for the placebo effect. So Trump's bold action on drug prices, prescription drug prices are down 3.9% since Trump took office and have fallen every month of 2026. Non-prescription drugs are down 2.4% over the same period. Iowa passed a law on ivermectin, no prescription needed. Pharmacies won't comply. Well, sounds like someone needs to sue the pharmacy. After 20 doctors, it gets tough. Wow. Debbie Wasserman Schultz is at 47%. Oh my God, she might actually win, huh? Debbie Wasserman Schultz might actually win. Oh. The problem with drug price reduction is if you have insurance, you don't see the drop. I pay 0.86 cents a month for medication for a decade. I hope hormone blockers went way up in price. Red Alert says, I think I saw all pharmacy advertising ivermectin on Truth. I didn't look into it, though, because I already have some. They called it for her already? Oh, my God. Of course they did. So to find out how that compares to previous years, this person sent Grok and ChatGPT on it, and both of them returned similar results. It said from 2015 to 2025, prescription and non-prescription drug prices overall were up 18 to 19%. And was pleasantly surprised to learn that they actually lagged behind the rate of inflation, which medical spending did not. So most was driven by the twin devils of Medicare and Medicaid, both rife with fraud, which is true. The real meat inside the announcement is that the revolutionary Trump RX platform has generated $700 million in savings for millions of American patients. GLP-1 medications that once cost over $1,000 a month are now available starting at $149. Fertility drugs, inhalers, insulin, cholesterol treatment, and dozens of other high-cost drugs have seen cuts of 50 to 90% or more. Last year, Trump used a combination of the federal government's enormous purchasing power and the credible threat to impose most favored nation pricing on GLP makers Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk to get those huge price reductions. Previously, the weight loss drugs weren't available for Medicare and Medicaid, but the administration changed that rule. GLP drugs, because they appear to have benefits far beyond weight loss. They do, but they do have some issues, so they have to be careful. So a drug that shows promise against diabetes, high blood pressure, cardiovascular, heart disease, sleep apnea, and more, those addition to the general health improvements gained by shedding excess weight. The hag with greasy hair and a speech impediment didn't win shit, just more fraudulent voting. That's what I say. The interest of fairness and balance, I should remind you before we finish that the Trump administration has done nothing to reduce consumer prices for coffee or distilled spirits, despite the fact that I drink them both medicinally. Oh, this person's being funny. I believe that Democrats will take back power in 2028. They will work to undo these prices. Probably. Yeah. That's what Biden did. If you remember when Biden came into office, he raised insulin prices so then he could say that he was lowering them, but he didn't even lower them as much as Trump did. Oliver Larkin, the DSA candidate in South Florida, is down 23%. Corey Mills is losing. Oh. So, I mean, I think this is good news, personally. Promises kept. Drug prices plummet. Record sharpest drop since 1963. Largest 6-month decline in history. Wow. Largest 6-month decline in prescription drugs in history. Prescription drug prices plummet thanks to Trump's promise to slash drug costs. Sharpest drop in 60 years. President Trump is the first president to actually lower drug prices. It's the first president to actually lower drug prices. Just let that sink in. First president to ever actually lower drug prices. Look at that. Look at that chart. That's crazy. So huge drop in drug prices. This is great news, man. Great news. Didn't RFK say the cereal makers got until 2027 to get the dyes out? I think so. I believe so. Out of the cereal. Yeah. So a Medicare pilot program resulted in drug manufacturers charging $245 a month for Wegovy. The monthly costs had been above $1,000. In a matter of months, we got up and running these discounts. So that's good. There are two amazing facts about the CPI, Consumer Price Index report for today. Democrat metros have much higher inflation than Republican metros. Drug prices have fallen for 7 months. Largest such decline, they're saying, since 1947. Wow. Media ignored this. Wow. It's crazy. Crazy. And it's, it's everywhere. It's not just these places. Look, the New York Post says White House takes victory lap as drug prices dipped 3.1% in the past year. Steepest drop since 1963. Is it true? Same thing from OAN. Prescription drugs dropped to a record 60-year low thanks to Trump RX. So this is great news. Pretty much, there's not very many people. There's not very many people that don't take some type of prescription drug. So getting the prices of prescriptions to come down, it's got to help everybody. So 2 Cubans are going to go head-to-head in my old district, the Rhino Salazar and the former local news anchor. Florida's my state. If you want me to stop just telling, no, you're good. I don't like Salazar at all, though, but the other guy seems like not much better. And he's a demon rat, right? So yeah, thanks to President Trump. And you can't overemphasize how important this is. And speaking of demon rats and what's bad, Trump warns Alaska not to fall for this demon rat trick. Just don't do it. Don't fall for the trick. I noticed a bunch of cereals on sale at the local drug mart the other day. None soon to be expired. I remember that dye announcement. Yeah, they're trying to get it basically every day. If you go to the grocery store, all the cereals buy one get one free. All the cereal brands. They're all buy one get one free because they got to get rid of the stuff with the dyes. They're not going to be able to sell it. So it's going to have to come off the shelf. So they're just trying to dump it. The smartest move the Republicans to make is let the Democrats win everything. So when it falls apart, the pitchfork and torch brigade won't be confused about who did it. I don't know. Despite knowing rhinos are complicit, that's not going to work. You got enough people that would basically, they're going to vote in communists, and the communists are going to try to just arrest everybody who's not a communist. That's what I worry about. So don't fall for the demon rat trick in Alaska. President Trump is urging Alaska voters to carefully distinguish between the two candidates named Dan Sullivan on Tuesday's ballot, throwing his support behind incumbent Republican Senator Dan Sullivan. Polls in the Panhandle close in 10 minutes. There is also hidden chemicals they don't put on the label in all the cereals that you buy in the store. Yeah. Fig Pat goes, it figures. Drugs lore, I don't take any. They're so desperate. They're desperate. Be careful. Vote for real Dan Sullivan and accuse those behind the competing candidacy of trying to mislead voters. Don't let the fraudsters get away from it. I mean, can't we admit that was the whole purpose? They found some clown named Dan Sullivan to run that's never done anything. That's just some retired dude. Like, yeah, I'll run because I hate Trump. I have TDS, so I'm going to run. And yeah, be careful. Vote for the real Dan Sullivan. The Alaska Senate primary features an unusual matchup between two Republicans with identical names. Incumbent Senator Dan S. Sullivan, who's seeking re-election, and Dan J. Sullivan, a retired teacher. Oh, really? You know a lot of retired school teachers that are Republicans? Do you? Teachers? Really? The race has drawn Trump's attention with the president accusing the Demon Rats of trying to confuse Alaska voters. Of course they are. They're using the middle initial now. Yeah. I heard they have been adding meth to cereals to get people addicted to them. Wow. Yahoo reports the intervention comes as Alaskans prepare to head to the polls on Tuesday. The two-term Senator Dan S. Sullivan is seeking another term, but voters will also see Dan J. Sullivan, a retired fifth-grade teacher and self-described moderate Republican. He's not. He's never been a Republican. He was never registered as a Republican. He was a Democrat. This is basically the same. His candidacy was backed by the same backers of the Pelota, whatever her name is, the Democrat congresswoman that's trying to run for the seat. So, because of the trickery in voting, the crooked radical Democrats have put another man named Dan Sullivan, and they did this to take away votes from our great senator. Demon Rats are trying to trick Alaskans and treat Alaska voters with contempt. After watching the fake Fauci hearings cover up, I wonder if Hitler knew all he had to do was plead the fifth and change the definition of mass. I wonder. And this is the AP reports this. Incumbent and challenger with same name and ex-congresswoman face off in Alaska's U.S. Senate. Oh, look, they put her in the front, the AP. The ex-congresswoman. Yeah, Mary Paltola. And she's her campaign manager is the guy who went, her campaign manager for when she was running for Congress. Her congressional campaign manager is the campaign manager of this guy named Sullivan that's running. You see the fake guy they're running? He looks like a Muppet. Yeah, it's pathetic. It's pathetic. So Alaska voters are choosing candidates for the general election because of the open primary system with ranked choice, which is the only reason that scum Lisa Murkowski is still a senator. Tuesday's ballot also included a state legislative candidate and statewide initiative that can reimpose campaign contribution limits. Senate races include 2 Dan Sullivans and a former congresswoman. The race could help determine the control of the Senate. It's drawn significant attention from outside groups. Peltola shook up her campaign leadership days before the primary, letting her campaign manager go and elevating a deputy. I wonder why. So Sullivan, a veteran and ally of Trump, has campaigned on supporting the military. Peltola leaned into a fish family freedom slogan. But this third guy named Sullivan's garnered much attention. Dan J. Sullivan won a legal fight to appear on the ballot despite claims by the senator and GOP that he's a sham candidate running at the behest of the Demon Rats with the intent of causing confusion, which is totally what's happening. He appeared on the ballot as Dan J. Sullivan Jr. with no party affiliation, a decision that state election officials said was intended to minimize confusion. Meanwhile, the senator was listed as Dan S. Sullivan, Republican and incumbent. No other candidate seeking re-election has incumbent label. The drama involving the dueling Sullivans caught the attention of Trump. Vote for Dan S. Sullivan, the man. Dan the man. In a race for Alaska's only House seat, the most prominent candidates were Republican Nick Bekich, seeking a second term, and progressive Demon Rat Matt Schiltz suspended his campaign last month, but remains on the ballot. He campaigned, said Schiltz would withdraw as the general election candidate if he makes the top 4. Schiltz urged support for Hill, who leaned into concerns about affordability. The governor's race is wide open in Alaska. Tom Begich, who is Nick's uncle, is running. So we'll see. Pay attention. As for Super MAGA, that's right. I'd like to hear something more about the laws prohibiting chemtrails. It would be great, wouldn't it? Something would be good. Anything would be great. Would be nice. I just want to remind everybody, for the 175 people we still have here, please hit the like button and please subscribe if you haven't already. It would really help. It really helps me out. Really helps grow the channel. We're trying so hard to get up there in subscribers. So please think about it if you haven't already. It will be really, really, really nice if you did. And then, speaking of the primaries, it says that data centers and crypto tax revisions take center stage in Tuesday's primaries. I have not heard Trump not one time talk about eliminating chemtrails. I have not heard Trump not one time. So primaries are being held in Alaska, Florida, Wyoming, as November looms. Alaska is the top battleground. Florida is holding gubernatorial and Senate primaries, with data centers becoming a top issue. Primary election season continues Tuesday. Like, look at this lady with the damn weird earrings and stuff on her face. Just look at that. I can't vote for you. Can't vote for that lady. She's nuts. She's a nut job. So Tuesday's elections come in the wake of contests in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota over the past weeks, which were closely watched on the Demon Rat side. So progressive candidates have surged in primaries across the country. So let's call them what they are. They're terrorist communists. They're commie slobs. They're commie slobs. That's what they are. They're commie slobs. We're going to have to pay attention. This election could come right down. All of my personalities have subscribed to you, Jim. Well, I appreciate it. I really do. Florida has rid chemtrails. Yeah, Florida passed a law saying that basically it's illegal to do it in Florida. A few states made laws making chemtrails illegal. I wish they do it here in Ohio. Yeah, Florida. It doesn't even matter if they don't spray it in Florida. If they take off or land in Florida, you can be charged with a crime. And spraying, it's also a crime. The Rhino governor of Utah, Spencer Cox, did the same kind of scam on his most serious contender for governor, Phil Lyman. Cox cheated to get on the ballot, and his campaign ran a different Phil Lyman. Yeah, of course they do. Of course they do. They're all scum. All scum. I don't know. You know who's not scum? Trump. Trump says there's no current talks with Iran and that the Hormuz Strait is open and operating. That's what he says. Hey, what's up, Lisa? Great to see you. President Trump asserted that there's no ongoing talks between the United States and Iran as the U.S. continues to exert intense economic pressure through the naval blockade. Alex Vindman looks like he's going to lose. Good. There's no talks or conversations going on with Iran. The naval blockade remains in full force. He stated further that the Strait of Hormuz, a vital waterway through which a fifth of the world's oil and liquefied natural gas transit, was open and in use. The strait's open and operating. I will say that, just so everyone sees, oil prices are higher than they have been. If they were down in the 70s, now they're back up to 85. I don't understand if the Strait is this oil companies taking profits or what's going on here. If the Strait's open and oil's moving, there's no reason for oil prices to be this high. I don't know one Republican that likes Rhino Governor DeWine, aka DeWine. Yeah, he's a DeWiner. So with the onset of the operation against Iran, the Strait was virtually closed due to the threat of aggression. On Monday, Trump told Trey Yinks that there was a back channel, that division among Iranian leadership has complicated the negotiations of a deal. See, is this the actual? I don't see it. So, all right. I thought there would be an article there. Moody skated through easy. Yeah. Figured as much. So Trump posts a map depicting the Strait of Hormuz as a new U.S. territory just after the latest tanker attack by the Iranians. Yet another attack has occurred in the Strait, this time a foreign tanker on an outbound transit route, which Iran and Oman claim to directly oversee and administer. We peaked at 114 early in the conflict. Real peak was 140 a long time ago. Yeah. Vindman is out. Donald's called. Awesome. DeWino ripped his mask off during COVID. Yeah. Such attacks which mark enforcement of Iran's protocol and claims of control have been steady. Oil prices have been on the rise. Also, it continues to be clear Washington and Tehran are digging in with competing maximum demands. Oh, Moody only won by 66%. What a slacker. Wow. Hormuz isn't the only choke point witnessing active conflicts. Waters off Yemen and the Red Sea continue to heat up. According to the Wall Street Journal, the group is shutting down operations at strategic seaport at the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. The most significant escalation in quite a few years, maybe since 2020. So they call the port of Makkah the key logistical hub for anti-Houthi forces on the Red Sea. Donald's just called. Awesome. Before the war began, roughly 100 ships per day. Now it's 10 ships per day. Well, they need to get more ships through there. They need to do it. On the question of finding a broader path forward, there's still no talks, no movement. And they won't resume until Oman deal is finalized. Qatar's foreign minister said that the countries mediating between the U.S. and Iran are waiting for Iran and Oman to announce an expected agreement before pushing Washington and Tehran to resume negotiations. And then Trump posted this new territory, which, yeah. So Trump, meanwhile, ultimately sticking to the following as an ultimate goal. The number one goal is that Iran cannot in any way, shape, or form have a nuclear weapon. Jolly versus Donald's, January 5th, Donald's in Tally. I don't know what that means. Oh, okay. I got you. I get it. Tallahassee. So President Trump's approval rating fell into the lowest levels of his presidency, with overwhelming majority of Americans concerned about the U.S. war.
American approval of President Donald Trump's performance in office has fallen to the lowest of his current term in office. There's a number of factors that weigh on this. The new Reuters Ipsos poll shows that 33% of American adults, basically 1 in 3, think that Trump is doing a good job in office. 64%, a little under 2 in 3, don't think he's doing a good job. He came in with 47% public approval, so on a fairly low base, but we've seen a fairly steady decline over the past couple of months, with in particular rising gasoline prices coming up as a topic of concern, and voters saying that they're starting to view Democrats as perhaps better stewards of the economy. That's particularly unusual. Historically, Republicans have had the advantage with voters on the economy, and is a warning sign for Trump's party heading into the November midterm elections that will determine control of Congress. Right now, when you look at the generic ballot, which is kind of a national read of what party Americans want to have in control of Congress, Democrats have about a 5 percentage point edge. It's important not to oversell that number. Some of the concerns about Trump's stewardship seem to be taking a toll on his party, notably with Americans kind of having a less warm view of Republicans' handling of the economy and of national security and war and foreign policy. So 4 out of 5 respondents believe that the war with Iran is going to go on for an extended period of time. If you look at it, that includes 71% of Republicans, and it stands in sharp contrast to the early days of the campaign when Trump was asserting that victory would be very swift. Obviously, what we've seen is a war that's lingered on for quite some time and given Iran the opportunity to really flex its power.
Wow, that's interesting. I thought I had that story. So not only is Iran not back down, but its military is newly claiming to take an offensive posture. We'll see. We shall see. We shall see. I mean, at some point, Iran's going to have to get dealt with, and they're going to have to decide how they want to do it. You can dismiss the polls, but not everyone that voted for Trump supports the war. No, I know not everyone supports the war. I don't dismiss the polls. I just, what's the choice? What's the choice? Vote for a Democrat? Vote for fucking destruction of the country because you're mad about something going on that's really not affecting you? Because, what's really affecting you with the war? A little bit higher gas prices. That's it. That's it. Everything else he's doing is great. I'll gladly pay more for gas knowing most Democrat voters don't work. 1,166 people isn't a poll, is it? Not really. They need to quit polling the CNN break room. Yeah. Less than a year is not lingering on for quite some time. Well, that's the thing. They always say, Jim, many are stupid. They will vote for Democrats. Well, then, they get what they vote for. They get what they vote for. Yes, I don't like the strategy. He should have told Congress to take a long walk and bomb Iran until the president got on TV and said the keys to the country are here. Yeah, that's what should have happened. But for some reason, yeah. The same polls that said Kamala was just slightly ahead of Trump. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. They're talking about all these states. Like, they're saying, oh, my God, look at this, how close this race is in Texas and stuff. It's like, yeah, wait, you guys said that, Talrico is within striking distance of Ken Paxton. You guys said Beto was going to win, and he got smoked by Ted Cruz. You guys said that Susan Collins was going to get defeated all these times. So it's not what everybody makes it out to be. It's not. So, all right, let's go to this one here. This next story. A nasty catfight breaks out between hijab-wearing Somali women at Target. I'll spit on you. I get you. Hello. Look at this. A viral video captured a catfight between hijab-wearing Smellies. The video in question opens with two women wrestling on the ground. They're wrestling. The women in navy blue soon gain the upper hand. I spit on you. Help, spit, bitch. I get bitch. You get you, bitch. They just won't vote at all. A lot of them won't. Yeah. The bystanders make little effort to break up the brawl. So let's see. Smelly catfight. Hijabs are off, screaming and cursing. Okay, they got music playing, so I'm going to have to break it up a little bit because that music will get... Look at this. Look at him go. Go, girl. Go, girl. Look at him. Oh, stop. Hujja. Smell. Look at this other one. Is that Ilhan Omar with her phone going like la, 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 la? That's crazy. The socialists are not the majority. They just have the establishment pushing the false narrative that they are. It's crazy, isn't it? That's what they make burn us for. That's right. Yeah, transitory inflation that lingered on for 4 years. Saxophone, that's what it is, but they'll get me. Look at them. Oh, let's get to this. Go to get. I get you. Oh, yes, filming. I get you. I can literally smell them through the screen. Well, yeah, the religion of peace strikes again. Send them back to their garbage pit of a country. They stole enough millions from the American taxpayers to build their own targets to fight in. Yes. Just another reason that Somalia needs TPS to end. It's the same video. Just it's the same, all the same video. They just one reason they need their TPS to end. Yeah. So deport them. This is their culture. We don't want this bullshit. The jobs fly. I have absolutely no idea when this happened or which target store it occurred in, but I was shocked this was on the Drudge Report. The jobs fly as Somali women viciously attack each other. How many smelly women does it take to have a cat fight? Apparently 5. 2 to fight, 3 to film it. Muslims are uncivilized savages. They don't belong in Western society. Oh, what is this? Oh, interesting. And what does Minnesota do when this happens? Minnesota decides that it's going to reward smellies. And they're going to reward a smelly Medicaid fraudster linked to sex trafficking with outstanding refugee awards. So you can be a smelly sex trafficking fraudster, and they're going to say you're the best refugee we got. If this is the best refugee, what are the worst refugees? That's what's got to make you think about it. All right. They were awarded outstanding refugee award to a fraudster linked to sex trafficking. Well, what about the ones that aren't outstanding? They must really be bad. Yes, if they were doing that in Afghanistan or Iran, they'd be stoned to death. This guy, Clueless Waltz there. A smelly man in Minnesota has been hit with criminal charges involving $1.5 million in Medicaid fraud. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison announced on Monday that Salman Ahmed Elmi, that name sounds familiar. Elmi, is he related? Isn't there an Elmi? Wasn't that related to somehow Ilhan Omar's brother or husband or something? His last name was Elmi. He's been charged with 3 counts of aiding and abetting theft by swindling and 5 counts of aiding and abetting theft by false representation. Ellison's office said that between 2024 and 2026, Elmi operated Riva Health, which claimed to provide adult rehabilitative mental health services to Medicaid recipients. However, documentation was falsified to attain Medicaid reimbursement. It's knucking futs, it is. With Elmi and other co-conspirators being accused of instrumenting employees to pay recipients kickbacks in exchange for the permission to use their personal information in support of the claim. Abetting, yeah, aiding and abetting. Aiding and abetting. Did they spell abetting wrong? No, they spelled it right. Abetting. Several co-conspirators ran a separate criminal enterprise with connections to Riva, faced charges from the Hennepin County Attorney's Office. The charges out of Hennepin County are against 4 people, with each being charged 13 counts of promoting prostitution of an individual and receiving profits from prostitution. This is the outstanding refugee, a pimp, a Mac daddy looking for a dollar. Once he got the smelly, he not gonna holla. I want you to laugh tonight. I laugh every night, right before I cry. The defendants are 57-year-old Frank Reeves, who's accused of running the operation with former Anoka County Assistant Attorney Andrea Sampson. Sampson's running a prostitution ring. Also charged is Victoria Komanash and Kathleen Thomas. Prosecutors say defendants recruited women and posted sex advertisements on the website they owned and collected money from victims. Wow. That posted online. It's crazy. Hennepin County theme tonight. There's a lot of stuff. Border wall should cut through American wall of Minnesota. Thomes is accused of owning and operating the website. Sampson is accused of creating and maintaining shell companies through which to launder money. This was a county attorney doing this. A county attorney. Red Alert says, just let the dogs out. The locusts are lied. What I miss? Well, we got the most outstanding refugee, turns out, is a pimp and a fraudster. Elmi was given the Minnesota Department of Human Services Outstanding Refugee Award for entrepreneurship in 2021. So they say being a pimp and doing fraud is just being a good entrepreneur, according to. I want to talk to Sampson. The biggest thing I hear all the time is that refugees are mooching off the economy or being non-productive. In reality, immigrants contribute to a big part of the economy here in Minnesota. So the fraud is a big part of the economy in Minnesota. Wow. That's insane. That's insane. Right here. Former Minnesota County prosecutor charged in sex trafficking ring. And an Anoka County assistant attorney and 3 others charged for running disturbing sex trafficking ring. Hennepin County Attorney's Office says. This is just nuts, man. Nuts. It really is nuts. This is a commercial taking a long time to run. Like, how long of a commercial? Drive sober.
Vulnerable women and ripping off taxpayers for millions of dollars. Investigators say these commercial sex houses were also swindling Medicaid money from the government. As Jason Rantala reports, investigators say this former county prosecutor played a critical role.
The level of sophistication and victimization for profit is disturbing.
A disturbing years-long sex trafficking operation with online ads, shell companies, and violent threats. And prosecutors say former assistant Anoka County Attorney Andrea Sampson played a key role, providing locations for the commercial sex and hiding the profits. She's one of 4 people charged in the scheme.
This was a complicated scheme. This was a scheme that was designed not only to exploit the victims in these cases, take advantage of them, but also structured to hide the money and the proceeds that was done with multiple individuals, including building out shell companies.
And new charges allege they weren't just traffickers, they ripped off taxpayers too. The Attorney General's Medicaid fraud unit says the group ran fake autism and assisted living sites. Prosecutors say some of the women recruited into the commercial sex operation were later brought into the fraudulent businesses, used as employees, recruited Medicaid recipients, or had their identities used to support Medicaid claims. Moriarty says there were 13 victims forced to be in the sex trafficking ring, but she believes there may be many more.
No one wants to be involved in a sex trafficking ring. It is something that happens to you. The 13 victims and others are victims and suffered great harm from being forced to be in the sex trafficking ring.
Jason Rantala, WCCO News.
The Anoka County Attorney said Sampson, the former prosecutor, was placed on leave in February when the BCA told them about the investigation. She has since been fired. The attorney's office told us today they will take appropriate action if they find her conduct impacted any particular case.
Wow.
Yeah. Minnesota.
Any particular case. So, yeah. So they charged this Anoka County assistant attorney for running the sprawling sex trafficking scheme. Just Minnesota's just all fucked up, man. All right. On to the next story. Eric Swalwell. All right. Hey, what's up, suck boy Tony? How you doing? Who's profiting? The Smellies. The Smellies are profiting. They're stealing all our money. That's what they're doing. They're stealing our money. FBI, Swalwell did admit to sleeping with the Chinese spy and may have received illegal foreign contributions. Uh-oh. That's what the FBI says. We all recall Bill Clinton's infamous declaration that I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. One of his supporters, disgraced former rep Eric Swalwell, now has his own personal that person moment. That's right. Shocker. Shocker. Swalwell admitted to what he refused to admit publicly. He did have sex with that person. Moreover, the material confirms that he not only enabled Fang Fang, the alleged Chinese spy, in pushing foreign interns for his office, but may have received illegal foreign contributions. What's most striking about this report is that Nancy Pelosi was briefed on the information and refused to remove Swalwell from the House Intelligence Committee. Can you believe that? Refused to remove Swalwell. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Refuse to remove Swalwell. Wait a minute. Oh. My bad. My bad. I screwed up. I went wrong way. Hey, what's up, Garfield? Good to see you. Have I seen the Epstein files? Yes, I've seen the Epstein files. It seems that Bill Clinton and Bill Gates were really big fans. I was a kid. I went outside. My Labrador was hitting herself on the nose and making a weird noise. She had live locusts on top of her head. Oh, wow. Yes, the FBI really needs to be dismantled, but it never happened. Sure does. Wow. So Swalwell, after the scandal broke, Swalwell repeatedly asked about his association. He was repeatedly asked. He denied everything. What it appears this person, as the story reports, was unsuccessful in whatever they were trying to do. Turns out Swalwell admitted to the FBI that the relationship was sexual in nature. We know the FBI believed Fang Fang had been working with Chinese intelligence. We know she was. Swalwell is a creep. Yep. They are loud tonight. Yes, they are. We all know that Pelosi allowed him to get away with it. Yeah. I mean, if you remember, too, there was a whole... Dianne Feinstein had a Chinese spy that was her driver, It's like nonstop. You've got mayors in California that are working with China. It just keeps happening. So Pelosi was aware and didn't care. Pelosi dismissed the allegations and said, oh, I don't have any concern about Swalwell. We don't care because Pelosi's probably on China's payroll too. So after the implosion, Pelosi immediately feigned a total lack of knowledge and responsibility. That's right, because she was using Swalwell as her attack dog. And it didn't care. So the Federalist just says FBI docs that Fang Fang sold access to Eric Swalwell. So Fang Fang, Dearborn, Michigan has fallen. Yes, it has, a long time ago. A lot of these guys fall for the honeypot. Yeah, they do. This guy right there. Fang Fang was known to the FBI to have connections to Chinese intelligence. Yeah, and they told, here's what happened. They told Swalwell about her. They went and warned him, and then somehow Fang Fang found out and left the country. Which is insane. It's literally insane. The documents related to the probe called Freshman 15 were released Monday. The investigation revealed that Fang Fang, a Chinese national residing in the U.S., is a facilitator in bribing and doing things. It's rusty thumbs. Yes, rusty thumbs. Fang reportedly asked contributors directly for donations, promised to reimburse them. Fang Fang advised that she had a good way to create influence with Swalwell. And she used her mouth, if you know what I'm saying. A significant portion of Swalwell's constituents are Chinese Americans. Oh, okay. Prior to the undercover operation, the FBI attempted to recruit Fang Fang, but when they told Swalwell about it, somehow Fang Fang found out. She was known to have connections to Chinese intelligence. Given Rusty Thumb's apparent connections with the Chinese Ministry of State Security, there was campaigns directed directly at the U.S. Maybe he asked for a Chi-Com hooker. Maybe. So instead of maintaining the investigation into Swalwell, the FBI decided to narrow the investigation solely into Fang Fang. Oh, yeah, they got the Biden administration got him to go away from Eric Swalwell. So according to one winery owner who had financially assisted Fang Fang with leases on a car and apartment, she offered to pay him back if he donated to Swalwell's campaign. Fang also admitted to the winery owner that her parents used to work for Chinese government in an apartment akin to the U.S. Secret Service. So the FBI closed the investigation in 2017, noting it had discovered evidence Fang Fang had broken multiple laws, engaged in international money smuggling, acted as an unregistered foreign agent, and made prohibited contributions in the name of another. But all that happened was Fang Fang left the country sometime in 2015. So it was Obama's DOJ that warned Swalwell about it. And then Swalwell told Fang Fang, and Fang Fang left the country. That's what happened. That's what happened. You know, and speaking of people doing things that are just ridiculous. All right. Check this out. Soros prosecutor Steve Discummo, all right, asked a judge that an illegal alien Islamic extremist murderer to be let out of confinement and driven to the Tajikistan embassy to get a foreign passport. So this guy is arrested. He's a murderer, but they said he was too crazy or something like that. He was like mentally unfit, so he couldn't be prosecuted. The prosecutor's office allowed him to go get a fucking passport. And then he was given a 48-hour pass to leave the psychiatric ward. So they let him out. They let him go get a passport and they let him leave. And then he left the country. What do you know? A murderer just got to leave. Yeah, she didn't just leave. She was given a first-class flight paid with our tax dollars. Yep. Welcome to Virginia. You ain't kidding. Not guilty by reason of insanity. Yeah, this guy gets not guilty by reason of insanity. All right. And then the fucking scumbag prosecutor lets him go out for the weekend and he leaves. Abduli Tushabuduza was found covered in blood from head to toe after stabbing a man to death. Told police, I am guilty. Yet he was deemed not guilty by reason of insanity due to his religious beliefs after taxpayers paid for a Muslim psychiatrist to evaluate him. The Fairfax Community Services Board and Mental Health Institute acknowledged that he was an illegal alien and a murderer and said it's of the opinion that he is an appropriate candidate for conditional release. A judge disagreed, but days later, the Institute let him out on a 48-hour unaccompanied community visit Fairfax even paid for an apartment for him. Of course, instead he went to Dulles and fled the country. Yeah, these corrupt prosecutors, they do need to go. They really do. DeScummo's chief of staff told the Daily Wire that the prosecutor's office helped him get a passport for documentary purposes, but declined to say whether DeScummo opposed the hospital letting out murderers on 48-hour visits. This is insane. This is literally insane. Religious police. Well, they have released the Muslim terrorist because he was crazy yet. Yeah. You know, like Mary Catherine Ham says, Fairfax prosecutors helped him get the passport. Then he left the country while on a 48-hour pass. We're lucky he didn't kill anybody else before he left. If these scummos policies were literally written by illegal immigrants, confessed murderers in mental institutions, how would they be different? When Brandon Gill pressed him on criminal illegal alien status and his decision to release them, he blames his office. This is the guy, DeScummo.
I want to better understand how you weigh an illegal alien's immigration status whenever you're making charging decisions. Do you know who Ander Jose Cortez Mendez is? Are you familiar with that case? Yes, sir. Okay, this is a Guatemalan illegal alien who was arrested in March of 2024. He was initially charged with, quote, carnal knowledge of a 13 to 14-year-old. Just for those of us who aren't lawyers, can you describe just very briefly what does carnal knowledge of a 13 to 14-year-old mean in this context?
Well, sir, generally a charge like that would typically refer to underage sex.
Okay, so he raped an underage person, an illegal alien who raped an underage American. Your office reduced those charges to a misdemeanor charge of consensual sex with a child 15 years and older. You offered him a 90-day suspended jail sentence. Is that correct?
Sir, based on the evidence that we had in the case.
So it is correct.
But it's not related to the policy, sir.
So that is correct. I just want to ask you, whenever you were making that charging decision to reduce the charge, how did you weigh the defendant's immigration status?
Well, sir, to be clear, I was not the lead prosecutor in that case.
It was your office.
So absolutely, sir. I, of course, rely on my team of 50-some attorneys to do cases. But I think what is important is that oftentimes, as you know, sir, as a prosecutor, you know, we're constrained by the evidence. We're constrained.
I just need to know how did you take into account the defendant's immigration status?
Well, sir, again, I'm saying
making that decision. How did your office make that determination?
Well, what I would say is that, and thank you for clarifying. If you take a look at the immigration consequences policy, or
let me ask you a different way. Did your office reduce charges against this illegal alien from a felony rape charge to a misdemeanor charge with a 90-day suspended jail sentence, in part because this was an illegal alien in question?
No, this was evidentiary based.
It was evident. It had nothing to do with the defendant's immigration status.
So when you
testimony,
if you read the policy, you'll see that.
Did it have anything to do with the defendant's immigration status? It's just yes or no.
Well, sir, it was based on the evidence.
I'm asking you, was their immigration status part of the evidence?
I don't believe so.
Yes or no? You don't believe so. Your policy says that you shall consider their immigration
actually,
status.
Sir, if you actually read the whole policy, it explicitly carves out
prosecutors
cases.
shall consider the collateral immigration consequences of the specific crimes the defendant is charged with and the detrimental impact that deportation removal has on the families.
It also mentions that it's not outcome determinative. It also
I understand, and I'm asking you if your office weighed the defendant's immigration status in making your charging decisions here.
Oh, again, sir, I was not the lead prosecutor in this
I'm
case,
asking for your office. I understand you're not the lead.
Exactly. I just want to be clear. But
he's not being clear. He's trying to obfuscate and lie and use word salad.
Should not have fallen under the rubric of this policy. This is a narrow policy and is meant to be a narrow policy.
An illegal alien, I think that would qualify, would it not?
Well, no, sir, because again, the way that the policy is being presented as it is outcome determined.
There would be immigration consequences based on what charge you bring. That would clearly apply to this case.
No, sir. Again, that's the reason why I mentioned earlier. You read a portion, but not the entire 2 paragraphs of this subhead.
Prosecutors shall consider. I just want to know, just give me a yes or no answer. Did you take into account the defendant's immigration status?
Sir, again, I was not, but the way the policy,
Did your office
the
take
way
it?
the
It's a yes
policy
or no
is written,
question.
no, they should not have taken.
Should not have.
That is not outcome determinative in a case like this, sir.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, they need to subpoena all his fucking records and start calling in the actual prosecutors and ask them questions because he's not answering the questions. He's going, no, they shouldn't have. So he could say, well, they shouldn't have, even though they did, but even though his policy directs it. We uneducated non-attorneys don't need a degree to know he's gaslighting and obfuscating. Yeah. I hate politicians, but I'm starting to like Brandon Gill. Yeah. So here's the guy that this guy's office. What happened here? Islamist immigrant murderer allowed to flee the country was given a 48-hour leave from a mental hospital. Judge wanted to shield the extremist and murderer from deportation, court records show. So they didn't want to deport him. They wanted these murderers to stay in the country. What the fuck is going on, man? What is going on? An Islamist illegal alien murderer was allowed to escape back to his home country thanks to Virginia officials who failed to get a guilty verdict even after he admitted guilt, helped him get a foreign passport, and allowed him to leave the mental hospital on unsupervised visits. In 2019, Abduli Tashabaduza stabbed his roommate, Mohammed Hematarian, to death in their Vienna, Virginia home. He was found covered in blood from head to toe, said he was guilty. Less than a decade later, he escaped punishment and is back in his home of Tajikistan. Court records show that Fairfax County was paying for an apartment for this guy to live in while he was on leave from the mental facility. While on the 48-hour pass, he bought a one-way ticket and fled to his country, which borders Afghanistan in Central Asia. On July 6, 2026, the acquittee was permitted to leave the Northern Virginia Mental Hospital on an approved 48-hour pass to an apartment made available through the Fairfax Permanent Supportive Housing Program. Like, this is your fucking tax dollars are paying for all this. Our tax dollars. Buddy, your taxes are paying for this. They're taking money. They're stealing money from you to get apartments for fucking crazy murderers, to let them out of mental hospitals for 48 hours so they can rape and murder more people. This is insane. He boarded a flight at Washington Dulles International Airport, traveled to Istanbul, and then traveled to Dushanbe, Tajikistan. Although he admitted guilt, he was found not guilty after his attorney said he was fixated on religious topics and that he was illogical and nonsensical. So what they're saying here, what I'm hearing is they're saying that Islam is a mental illness. That's what they're saying here. They're saying he was focused on religion of Islam and it made him illogical and nonsensical. So he couldn't be found guilty for murder. So that means if a Muslim murders you, they're not going to be found guilty because they're illogical and they can't be found guilty because they have no logic. So what, Jim? Are they going to remove the judge that allowed all this crap? Nope. No, they're not. This is insane, though. He's crazy. Yes, I feel like maybe we're the crazy ones because we're not out there doing something about this. Yeah, some white woman is crying because he didn't grape her first. Yeah, maybe he should have graped a couple on his way out. His brother would take him to a mosque for spiritual cleansing. Unfortunately, his family did not assist him with his mental health treatment. A psychologist named Sahir Monfared was put in charge of evaluating the man, given the intertwining of Islam with his delusions. What? He recommended he be granted a not guilty ruling. Another independent psychiatrist hired by the prosecutor's office agreed. In October 2022, the not guilty by reason of insanity judgment was entered with the concurrence of the county prosecutor, Steve Descummo. So Steve Descummo was all for this. That fucking lispy faggot motherfucker that was just talking to Brandon Gill. Yeah, him. Descummo won office with the financial backing of George Soros, the fucking guy who helped the Nazis round up the Jews in Hungary. That's what George Soros did. Look into it. He said it was the most proud moments of his life. In 2024, Descummo teamed up with the murderer's lawyer to ask the judge to give him permission to be escorted. So Descummo teamed up with the guy's lawyer to ask the judge to have him escorted to the embassy to get a fucking passport. The Fairfax County Service Board acknowledged that he was an illegal alien and a murderer. He was able to leave confinement for good. Oh. The conditional release plan was signed by chair of the panel and 6 others. These people, I can't. I'm losing my mind here. Judge Steve Shannon blocked the permanent release, writing that Equity remained mentally ill and in need of inpatient hospital. They shall not be released from custody without further order of the court. So the judge said no, but they did it anyway. So why aren't these people being arrested? Toscano opposed the release. The judge's reason for blocking the release included shielding the murderer from deportation, with the court record saying the Equity will not receive treatment if deported. Yeah, they do. They need street justice. They really do. Just days later, the mental hospital, just let them go for unaccompanied visits. Just let them go. DeScummo's chief of staff told the Daily Wire that the prosecutor's office helped him get the passport, and said the not guilty ruling is made by a judge after reviews from multiple independent clinicians. So, yeah. And so deporting him would place another murderer on the loose in another country. Oh, but they let him leave, so he wasn't deported. So now he can come back into the country. She declined to say whether DeScummo opposes mental hospitals allowing murderers 48-hour passes. A similar case in neighboring Loudoun County contradicts that when a mental hospital proposed granting 16-hour visits to Melvin Wasicki, who similarly stabbed someone to death. Prosecutor Bob Anderson publicly objected and contacted the hospital, which reversed their. I think you've been a mod for a while, Dog Digger. I believe you've been a mod for a long time. Yeah, you've been a mod for a while, Dog Digger. You've been a mod for a while. Every day they rub it in our faces. Yeah, it's crazy. So DeScummo asked the judge for a judicial capias so that he can be apprehended and detained if he presents at any United States port of entry. So since 2015, murders in Fairfax County, 9 of them with foreign names have been ruled not guilty by reason of insanity. So this just keeps happening. So DeScummo just keeps letting these people get off with reason of insanity. Wow, that's pretty insane. A lot of crazy people running around Virginia. DeScummo is under investigation by the federal government after his campaign platform said he would help illegal immigrants avoid immigration consequences. DeScummo denied implementing campaign promises, but a long list of cases show DeScummo repeatedly declined or dropped charges against illegal aliens. A large portion of the murders in Fairfax come at the hand of illegal aliens, with multiple arrests. This one, guy from Sierra Leone, Abdul Jallah, had 30 prior arrests before he murdered Stephanie Minter. The Salvadoran migrant Marvin Morales, who fatally shot a man a day after authorities released him from jail, and they ignored the federal immigration holder. Virginia Governor Abigail Sperm-Gurgler has declined to hand illegal alien murderers over to federal immigration authorities. It's just crazy. It's crazy. It's insane. It's insane. Seattle shootout erupts in view of the city surveillance cameras, but Mayor Kate Wilson turned them off. That's right. This crazy, insane commie mayor of Seattle who didn't want the cameras on because she was worried that ICE could get access to them and find people. She shut them off. And so now murders happen and they can't do nothing about it. Seattle residents are clear about their priorities. Turn the cameras on now. Increase visible police presence now. Provide a comprehensive action plan in the next 100 days. But no, Miss Sixhead over here ain't doing nothing. Then she has to get arrested for harboring a fugitive. That's what I say. That's what I say. A 21-year-old man was shot in the back and more than 30 shell cases were recovered after a gun battle in Seattle's Pioneer Square on Sunday, within view of 3 city surveillance cameras that had been turned off after the World Cup. Seattle police officers said that at 1:34 a.m., multiple 911 calls reported gunshots. When officers arrived, they found 30 shell casings. Nearby security personnel told police a fight had spilled out of a bar. A short time later, a 21-year-old man suffering from a gunshot wound in the back arrived at Harborview Medical Center. Several vehicles and a business window were struck by gunfire. Investigators may be missing what could have potentially been valuable footage. Como News reports that 3 city surveillance cameras were positioned within view of the shootout, but they were offline after Seattle Mayor Kate the Commie Wilson, ordered stadium district cameras deactivated following the conclusion of the World Cup matches. This is crazy. Look at this. Rob, what's up, Rob? Thanks for being here. Rob's $2 says gas price New York $3.79. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's a good price. With that $2, folks, that means right now we're just 93 away from adding a second additional hour to the show. 30 rounds and only 1 man was hit. Looks like they're just not good shots. If you're concerned about cameras, then be sure to keep that device in your pocket pinging cell towers all day in a Faraday bag unless you're using it. Seattle Police Officers Guild blasted the mayor. Here we go again. Mayor Commie Wilson. Another violent shootout. 3 city surveillance cameras within view, all turned off by the mayor's order. They warned it's going to happen again when public safety tools are taken offline. Deja vu. The cameras had already become a political flashpoint earlier this spring before the World Cup. The commie mayor had paused expansion of Seattle's surveillance program with the city's privacy and data governance review. The debate centered in part on civil liberty concerns about how surveillance information could be accessed or used, including fears involving immigration enforcement. Gender-affirming care. Wow. The illegals are a distraction from the crime of these lawyers, judges, and politicians. Yes. Wilson agreed to activate the cameras temporarily during the World Cup after the FBI identified credible security threats. But after it was over, she shut them all off again. So the decision drew immediate criticism from the public. The Pioneer Square shootout has now put the decision back under scrutiny. Seattle voters are signaling overwhelming support for surveillance technology. A poll released by Metro Commerce said 75% of Seattle voters support the cameras. And only 34% said they thought Wilson has a plan for public safety. Hey, what's up, King of Biltong? How you doing? I ran your ad first thing, but I will run another ad. How you guys doing? You guys hungry? You like good food? Then you guys should really check out the King of Biltong and his awesome meats at www.biltongusa.com. That's right. You can go over there any time of day and you can get yourself good quality meats. Biltong, Angus Wagyu, Drowers, Cabanassi, peri-peri, spicy. You can get some super spicy, ghost pepper, Carolina Reaper. You can also get some real premium, top quality rib eye steaks shipped directly to your door. Also, other types of cakes, candies, snacks, and cookies from all around the world. So head on over to www.biltongusa.com and use promo code Jim. Save 10% and get some 8-ounce bags for your friends because they make excellent gifts. No problem, buddy. Seattle mayor is stupid and evil. Yes, they are. So support remained strong when voters are asked about specific uses of technology. 74% supported expanding cameras. 71% backed cameras in areas affected by open-air drug markets. No, you're fine. No, you're fine. Don't worry about it. You're good. You're good. I saw it's coming. Don't worry about it. I got it. I'll make sure I get the video up too when I get the stuff. No, thank you. Thank you. So the public isn't asking for a debate on public safety. They want action to solve it. The poll also found 90% support regular foot and bicycle patrol in areas persistent with public safety problems. The survey was conducted among 500 Seattle voters. Pressure on Wilson to restore the cameras had already been building before Sunday's shooting. 22 CCTV cameras in Pioneer Square and Stadium District while the city's review continues. Now detectives with Seattle's Police Department Gun Violence Reduction Unit are investigating a shootout that occurred in view of cameras, but the cameras weren't recording. This is just crazy because it's all fake. Yeah, it's really dumb that E85 goes up because I ran in oil. It is. That's crazy. E85 shouldn't go up at all. Hey, what's up, Seat Daydreams? Good to see you. Wow. Now we got this next story here. This bombshell report. Trump says the Census Bureau analysis confirms over 24,000 non-citizens voted in 2020 election, as 32 million records remain to be analyzed. It's interesting how they shut those cameras off after FIFA, and all at once a shooting happens, and people are begging for them back. Makes you go, It does. It does make you wonder, Regine, doesn't it? It does make you wonder what's going on. A beginning analysis is 24,000 plus voter records linked to non-citizens. Wow. So Trump dropped a massive True Social bombshell revealing the U.S. Census Bureau has begun cross-checking 2020 voter records. And so when they checked them against the citizenship records, the first 128 million voters, they found 24,000 non-citizens. Yes, that's right. You can also get the sauces from Viva Barnes. If you use code Jim, you can save 10% on those too. That's right. Viva Verdi and the Barnes Tennessee Gold, I hear, is pretty spicy. So according to the census graphics, the preliminary analysis found that 160 million ballots were cast, 128 million voter records were linked to U.S. citizens. So to me, that means there's a lot more, because if 32 million records remain to be analyzed, so they still don't even have information on 24 million records. That's crazy. That is just crazy that they can't even do it. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. So no U.S. birth record, no U.S. record. So wow, they no citizenship record, no passport, no government citizenship record, no proof of citizenship, and a green card, a visa, a foreign student citizen record, a DACA. Wow. So they know all this stuff. Wow. They know where they came from. They know they're not citizens. It says the Barnes hot gold is kick-ass. The sauces are spectacular, and I'm not a sauce guy. The top 10 countries of birth for non-citizen voters were Mexico, 3,800, Canada, 950, Philippines, Jamaica. Wow, look at this. United Kingdom, South Korea, Haiti, Vietnam. It's not a myth. It's happening. President Trump's now demanding action. The corporate media and demon rat operatives spent 5 years screaming that any discussion about non-citizen voting was a conspiracy theory. Now we know what's happening. We just saw a story the other day of a non-citizen voting. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Well, we need to save America Act passed now. We do. We need to save America Act passed now. We need it passed yesterday. How much in Super Chats to get Jim or Joe to chug one of those hot sauce bottles on stream? Well, I have GERD, so I mean, it would take for me to chug a hot sauce bottle would have to be like $500 because I would be sick for a day at least, maybe two. I know all of you, but the police are sick on you and told lies that will destroy you without knowing they're on the wrong side. That's true. International Atomic Energy Agency digs tons of nuclear material buried in clandestine site in Syria. The al-Shara regime reverses plan and refuses to hand over the findings. What? Say what? I wouldn't do that, Jim. That would put you at too much risk. I have GERD too. It's just not worth it. That would explain 81 million, but no energy for this autopsy. I believe they found, what's it say? Byron Donalds won the Florida GOP nominee for governor. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. That means we are now just $91 away from adding a second additional hour to the show. Thank you so much. We're getting there for a second hour, I tell you. We always knew. That's right. This guy, he doesn't want to give the nukes up now. Former Al-Qaeda terrorist is now sitting on a treasure trove of nuclear material that can be weaponized. United Nations team has excavated a previously undisclosed site in Syria that found several tons of nuclear material from the days of the Bashar al-Assad rule. Look at this. Hear my call. Rally. You'll feel better, I promise. Thank you. That's right. Everybody just gives 2. We would be there, no problem. If everybody gave 2 that was watching right now, we would get another 2 hours. With that, we're just $89 away. That's right, just $89 away from adding a second additional hour to the show. Thank you so much. Ulcers are no joke. Yeah. So United Nations teams excavated the site. The agreed plan was for the IAEA to remove the material. Syria is now holding the nuclear material and refuses to hand it over, saying it will remain under IAEA safeguards for peaceful civilian use. Thought this was funny. Trump impeachment hoax architect Alexander Vindman got crushed in his primary by over 11 points. He outspent Angie Nixon by 16 million and still lost badly. Oh, that is funny. That is funny. They found a few tons of nuclear material at a secret Syrian site. Wow. Syria admits holding nuclear material, refuses handover. We have the right to use it, he says. Damascus reverses earlier plan to remove the material, saying it will remain under IAEA safeguard. I would think that someone has to have a talk with this guy and tell him, hey, bud, you're going to have to give that up. And if you want, like a nuclear something, you want something, we'll deal with it. This ain't the way. Here's my 2 cents worth, but I have to go to bed after. Okay. We have more big bombs. Yes, we do. Rafael Grassi, chief of the IAEA, said that tons of nuclear material that could be put to bad use have been found at the site, dating from the time of Syria's authoritarian Assad regime. After your courageous decision to inform us that there was another site where nuclear material had been stored, we were able to access this place. He said during a press conference, we are talking about a few tons of nuclear material that could be put to bad use. The IAEA had previously said it was preparing to remove the material left over from the era of Bashar al-Assad. But they now form the Syrian government, the rebels that they overthrew. Hey, look at that. Richard for 2. Thank you. With that, 2 folks, that means we're just $87 away now, just 87 away from adding a second additional hour to the show. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Richard, and good night. So, Mr. Shabani said the nuclear material was not dangerous, would remain in Syria. Syrian minister confirms the material exists and says it will remain on Syrian territory.
استنادا إلى التقييمات التقنية أن هذه المواد لا تشكل خطرا وأنها ستبقى في العهدة الوطنية السورية وخاضعة لنظام الضمانات الوكالة. كما تؤكد حقها القانوني والسيادي في الاستخدامات المدنية والسلمية للطاقة النووية بما ينسجم مع مصالحها الوطنية والتزاماتها الدولية. وسنواصل توفير.
That's what he is saying. He's saying they're keeping it and he doesn't care. If we don't like it, come do something about it. That's what he said. That was his exact words. That's what he said. He said, you don't like it, come do something about it. Wow, I can't believe it. I can't believe that's the tone they're taking. That's crazy. That's just insane. So under former President Bashar al-Assad, Syria was believed to have operated an extensive undeclared nuclear program that included a nuclear reactor built by North Korea in eastern Deir el-Zawar province. Syria under Assad allowed IAEA inspectors to visit some sites, but the country under interim president has pledged full cooperation. Myself and my team were inside the site. We were very comprehensive work of excavation and exploration is taking place. Isn't that what Maduro said? That is. You're right. It's a Durga Allah Durga Muhammad Jihad. That's right. Charlie Brown's teacher. That's what I hear when he talks. Yes. We used more in fertilizer. He's got scraps. All right. Because it's not significant. Okay. So read more about it. Ousted dictator Syria sentences Bashar al-Assad to death in absentia. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. I guess he's not going back there then. Oh, and it got bad news in the U.S., man. This is not good. This is not good at all. Depletion of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to the lowest level since 1982 risks Davern to the storage caverns. Tried not laughing, but underlying mental illness is too insane to be a joke. Oh, my God. CNN posted an article admitting that the Strait of Hormuz is open. Well, that's good. They finally admit it. That's good. That's good that they finally admit it. The oil reserves in the United States have dipped so low that the caverns that house the Strategic Petroleum Reserve are at risk of damage. The oil inventory has reached a 40-year low, down to just 300 million barrels. It's the first time the reserves have been so low since 1982, which is when the reserves were being filled. The total capacity is 714 million barrels. We should have a lot more than that. We really should. We should have billions of barrels. We should have like 20 billion barrels of reserves. The reserves sit in 60 salt caverns across both Texas and Louisiana. The 4 sites, 2 in each state, are thousands of feet beneath the earth. Draining the oil can compromise the integrity of the caverns themselves. Oh. The U.S. has plans to release 172 million barrels of oil, which will further deplete the supply. The Trump administration's conflict with Iran has caused global oil supply problems. The coming drawdown is intended to mitigate supply disruptions. I don't know anyone who believes we can go below 300, said former Biden senior energy advisor Amos Hochstein. I know plenty of people who think we can't get near 300 because physically you'll damage the caverns where the oil is stored. Well, what didn't Biden deplete the oil reserves? What about Venezuela? Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't understand this. Sounds like a fake story because they won't be able to get the oil. They've been depleting their strategic oil reserves. Something don't make sense to me with the story, because what purpose would it be if to have the reserves if you can't drain the reserves? We're like, well, you have them, but you can't ever take it out because it's going to damage the caverns. To me, that don't sound like an oil reserve. That sounds like an oil prison that you can't get the oil out of. The oil reserves are 100% to blame on Biden. He was so clever. He thought we would reduce the reserves and bring down the price of the pump. It didn't work. He never replenished the supply. And I want to remind everybody that in 2020, all right, when oil prices were at zero, where they were paying people money to take the oil, basically they were just like, just take the oil for free. Just take the oil. During COVID, they were like, oil futures were trading at zero, like negative, where like they would pay you to take it. Because you had to take delivery, you had to take the oil. The U.S. government could have took the oil. The Democrats, the fucking demon rats that were in control of Congress at the time, refused to allow Trump to buy oil to fill the reserves. They could have bought all the oil that was sitting there basically for nothing. They could have bought it for nothing and filled the reserve. They wouldn't let Trump do it. They could have filled it up, like stocked it full. Would have been 100% full. Yeah, Biden and Obama were trying to bankrupt our country. Yeah, and the demon rats helped. They totally helped because, like I said, they could have filled it during COVID. It was like a month or month and a half, 2 months where there was like oil prices were like zero, nothing. So the Department of Energy has a different view. The caverns are always full. President Trump are responsible for managing the SPR as a critical national security asset, helping stabilize oil markets and protect Americans from supply disruptions. Under the Biden administration, the oil reserves were depleted to manage costs of fuel. The administration was criticized for that move, and when he came back into office, Trump vowed to fill them back up. Did Biden not understand the meaning of emergency as an emergency reserves? No, they don't. I hear tell the conservatives are getting arrested in Dearborn for protesting as we speak. Oh, my God. Are you serious? Yeah, if you can never take the oil out due to structural damage, is it time to sue the builder of the shitty tank? I call bullshit. That's what I'm saying. It's something don't make sense. He noted concerns about the condition of the reserve, saying during 2025, the immediate thing we need to do is finish the repairs on the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. It was drawn down so quickly, and that caused some damage to the infrastructure itself. Those repairs are ongoing, and it costs a non-trivial amount of money to repair it. of the storage sites, the DOE said emergency crude oil is stored at the Strategic Petroleum Reserve and underground salt caverns at 4 major oil facilities. So Bryan Mound, Big Hill, West Hackberry, and Bayou Choctaw. They created deep within the massive salt deposits that underlie most of Texas, Louisiana. The caverns offer the best security and their most affordable means of storage, costing up to 10 times less than above ground tanks and 20 times less than hard rock mines. Wow. I think Trump renamed the Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America because Biden set it up and they couldn't drill in the Gulf of Mexico. It could be. Yeah, D.C. is supposed to be 10 square miles. Watching Dearborn on TV with Arturo, that city is lost. Wow. It's terrible. The neo-Nazis sided with the Muslims in the Dearborn protest. Go figure. Go figure. Wow. Oh, look at this. Speaking of Nazis, the anti-rich DSA leader, Gustavo Gordillo, lives it up posh in a $1.5 million New York City pad paid for by his millionaire parents. So go figure. It's always these commies. Yeah. Americans are unhappy with the political system. Yeah.
The problem we're facing in our housing system is that we talk about tenants and we say they have to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. They have to be responsible financially. But when we look at the landlords, we don't use those same standards. Landlords in New York have been making a 12% return on their investment on average.
How much should they make? What's fair for the landlord to make if you don't like 12?
They're complaining that 12 is not enough. And we don't think that anyone should have a constitutional right to double-digit returns on their investment. That's why we've implemented.
No one should have a right to a double-digit return on their investment.
No one has a right. That's not. No.
What are you talking
No
about?
one's in that. That's not in the Constitution. But what we see is that when we implement a rent freeze, we have landlords who are crying that the government is going to put them out of business.
They're trying to run a business, and they're trying to do it effectively. No, are all landlords perfect?
I mean, here's the thing. How are they supposed to do repairs if they can't make any money? How are they going to fix a boiler? If they're not making any money, they don't have money to pay the rent. If they're just making enough to cover the cost of the mortgage and taxes and stuff. I mean, what happens if something breaks? When, because these people, they don't really take care of their shit when they start breaking refrigerators and sinks and toilets and tubs, knocking holes in the walls and breaking lights. Who's going to pay for a new boiler? Who's going to pay for that shit if they don't make money? They have to make money that can offset the costs. Holy shit.
Are some landlords lousy? Of course they are. But I just think that the idea that no one should make a double-digit profit is the antithesis of the desire to, you can be anything you want to be.
Yeah, you can be anything you want to be except for any art, whatever. So close this out. So the millionaire parents of the whiny top commie leader have set up their socialist son in a $1.5 million Brooklyn home where he lives while railing against the rich and property ownership. Gustavo Gordillo, the 38-year-old co-chair of the New York City DSA, is peddling his anti-capitalist lefty agenda while enjoying the life in the 2-story, 2,000 square foot row home on gentrifying tree-lined block in Bed-Stuy. It's all part, as the Joker said, it's all part of their plan. It is. It is. It is. This is nuts. I wish my family could afford to buy me a multi-million-dollar home, said the local renter, who's called the socialist Yale University graduate a hypocrite. They're all like this. They're all. Look at fucking Mandami is a multi-millionaire. They live in a palace. They had a fucking palatial estate in Uganda. It's a rich kid from Yale. That's basically people who don't have to deal with the struggles we have to deal with. Yeah. The Ivy League radicals converted single-family home was bought in 2019 by his mommy and daddy through a dummy corp, the Chuquito LLC, for under $1 million. Since then, it's undergone a major facelift with renovations due to its entire front facade. The planting of lush landscaping and revamping of the interior, in addition to a pair of decks as near the front door, according to plans filed with the borough. Updates to the property continued Tuesday at least on its second floor. So they're even renovating it and they're adding stuff to it. This is crazy. Didn't the blacks gentrify Brooklyn first? Just saying that's not a black area first. Bed-Stuy was black. I think they moved them all out now. My son and my other son lived there, Gordillo's father said when reached by phone. The LLC purchased the home, and then we did the renovation. So Gordillo and his DSA comrades have railed against property ownership, called for redistribution of land from landowners to the landless. Gordillo also recently attacked landlords on his Fox News thing, which we saw. No one should have a right to get money. No one has a right to make a profit, he says. Gordillo has often touted himself as a blue-collar union electrician, but since 2024, he stopped referring to himself as an IBW Local 3 member and instead identifies as just some form of a union worker. Reports show that he joined IBW in 2019, but there are no records indicating that he made it through the 7-year journeyman process. Wow, they have a 7-year journeyman process in New York? Oof. It's unclear what he does to earn a paycheck. And he told the New York Times that he was no longer an electrician. Oh. Before coming to the Big Apple, he studied art at Yale University. So let me guess. So this guy just went and signed up for the apprenticeship program and then probably never went through it or did anything because he didn't need the money and didn't like to work hard. All right, Anton, you have a safe trip home with the kids. Cheers, and thanks for stopping by. I'll see you tomorrow night. Gordillo's father confirmed to the Post that the lefty and his brother live in a Brooklyn spot after admitting that the dad had rented a place for the DSA leader on the Lower East Side for $2,600 a month through the same LLC between 2016 and 2019. So his father was paying his rent then too. Gordillo worked at an art gallery before becoming an electrician. I don't think he was ever an electrician. He probably can't do the math to become an electrician. Yeah. A fart gallery. Totally. He took a fart class. Yeah. It's unclear whether Gordillo, who's listed the LES one bed, one bath as his primary residence at that time, repaid his parents for the rent. Yeah. Interesting. Interesting. Yes. Yes, definitely. Buy yourself some meat from the King of Biltong. Use promo code Jim to save 10%. Check him out. Get yourself some meat. Some meat. Get yourself some meat. Don't beat the meat. You can't beat the meat. Trooper says, I have made wide career and money decisions and have a single digit before 60s in my investment accounts, but I still feel like middle class. Oh, a single digit before 6 zeros. Oh, well, that's good. That's good. An immigrant from Peru, Gordillo grew up in South Florida with his parents. His parents now own a sprawling 5,000 square foot, 5-bed, 6-bath in Boca Raton. That's on the market for $3.1 million. They also own another $3 million home in Weston, Florida. His dad made his money as the founder of Draft Pros, which specializes in engineering and consulting services. Wow. Is he a citizen? Did he ever get U.S. citizen? I would revoke his citizenship for lying about being a commie. That's what I would do if it was me. Hey, look at this. Fauci's former advisor, David Morenz, pleads guilty to conspiracy to defraud the United States by hiding COVID origin records and evading FOIA. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Seattle IBW 46 is 5 years. Yeah, so is IBW Local 134 in Chicago. Wow. Crazy. David Morenz, a longtime senior advisor to Fauci, pled guilty on one count of conspiracy to commit offenses and defraud the United States. Yes. People are getting convicted, thank God. Yes. I am not tired of winning. He'll probably get 2 weeks community service and promoted laterally. I hope not. I hope not. According to DOJ, Morenz and his co-conspirators used his personal Gmail account. Was Fauci one of his co-conspirators? Yes. Additionally, he co-authored papers that dismissed the lab leak theory. He's facing up to 5 years in prison and other maximum penalties. The federal judge determined sentencing after considering sentencing guidelines. Yeah, he probably won't get any fucking time. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche calls it a profound abuse of trust. Morenz previously testified to Senate the House Select Subcommittee on coronavirus, Fauci distanced himself, claiming Morenz was not an advisor. He's like, I don't even know the guy. White Coat Waste Project first exposed the National Institute of Health's gain of function funding in Wuhan and the infamous Beaglegate experiments where Fauci tortured beagles. How about 5 years per word? That would be good for me. Responding to the news of the guilty plea, White Coat Waste said that White Coat Waste was the very first to expose Fauci's funding of gain of function and the animal experimentation at Wuhan. David Morenz deserves the maximum penalty for conspiring to defraud taxpayers and for hiding what really happened in Wuhan. There you go. That's right. That's awesome. Well, let's hope he gets punishment. Let's hope he gets punishment. While we're waiting here, let's do this. We are going to reset the goal on YouTube for another hour. Hey, only 74 people hit the like button. There was 300 people here and only 7,400 people liked it. Nobody subscribed either. That's bad. Wow. I'm starting to wonder why I do this. Anyway, so 10 super chats, 10 yellows for 1 hour. We are currently $87 away from adding a second additional hour. I can't believe only 74 people hit the like button out of 300 that were here earlier. Wow, that's bad. It puts the lotion on its skin. Yeah, be nice. Oh, look at this. Regine Reynolds became a new member. Well, thank you so much. Let's see what kind of member she becomes. She's been a casual listener. Well, thank you so much. That means, folks, we are now just $83 away from adding a second additional hour to the show. 83 away. Thank you, Regine, for becoming a new member. Welcome to the JimSomniacs. Check this out. A GB News presenter and pregnant wife ordered by police to flee home in dead of night after credible death threat from channel people, smuggling gangs he exposed in Calais, France. Thank you. So a British television presenter who dared to confront the criminal gangs profiting from illegal channel crossing say he and his heavily pregnant wife were forced to abandon their London home in the dead of night after police delivered a chilling threat to life warning. Like, you would think maybe that they would go and protect them. Florida District 9 and 11 primaries are too close to call. I don't even know. Honestly, I don't even know what district I live in. I mean, I know who I voted for, but I don't know what district I live in. And I have a feeling it's District 9 for some reason. Let me look. Who's running in District 9? Is that the one with Madison Cawthorn and Catalina Lauf and a bunch of people? Is that District 9? Is that Byron Donald's old district, District 9 or District 11? Which one's that? Fauci slept with all of those dudes. Fauci loves dudes. Carries the goo-goo. So GB Host says that officers ordered the couple to flee immediately. And that they warned them that even their car might be sabotaged. Why wouldn't the police go protect them? What kind of fucking country is that where the police tell you, run for your life? I'm getting a new garage door in the morning, and I'm already tired of moving all the crap in my garage out of the way. The commies are trying to steal Florida. Oh, I know they are. They're always up to something. So they issued an official threat to life warning, saying that people are actively seeking going to cause them significant harm. Who did I vote for? Why would I tell you? I voted for Madison Cawthorn. I don't know, because I thought when I liked what he said about the illegal, all the shit they were doing in Washington, the orgies and the drug fueled shit, and he was going at them. So I don't know. I don't know. That was the one I was like, I kind of liked him, but nobody. I have to admit, this is the first time in 8 years or long, actually, no, 10 years that nobody knocked on my door asking for my vote. Surprising. Just saying. So he was live on air when his wife called during an advertisement break with the message, the police were at our home and someone wanted to kill him. He returned just after midnight. Officers read the formal notice and were blunt. Get out right now and do not come back. What? How about you protect them? Frustrated that authorities appeared to do little, Christie's and a camera crew tracked them down and confronted 3 suspected smugglers within hours. He said he received death threats during those encounters. One of the men confronted later turned up on a London street. Police subsequently installed a panic alarm at the couple's home, according to Christie's, and security measures remained in place after they were allowed to return. How about get a gun and protect yourself? Oh, that's right. They let you do that in England. Buy more guns. Oh, yeah. He later alleged the alarm had been disconnected for approximately 10 days without the family being informed because police lacked sufficient equipment. Today, recounting the ordeal, Christie said he's angry and exasperated by the failure of the British authorities. I would be too. He's concerned his young family were exposed to danger when the Metropolitan Police disconnected their panic alarm without warning. Maybe you guys should start fighting for gun rights in England, maybe. Maybe, just maybe. Maybe, just maybe. Maybe, just maybe. I don't know what I did. I clearly ran off a bunch of people, though. They feel so emboldened they thought they could kill a TV journalist in his home. So another presenter said that they become increasingly concerned about threats against its members in the preceding 2 months. He called Christie's account very distressing. Said, regrettably, yes, I'm not alone in all this crap, and we have no way to protect ourselves. He added that Nigel Farage, what the hell just happened? You are 19. Cawthorn came in 4th. Schwartzel won. What? Schwartzel won? Oh, my God. So, Ann Whitcomb, who was just killed in her home, a 28-year-old man had been charged with her murder. Authorities have not declared the attack a terrorist incident. Reform has subsequently called for political figures to receive greater security protection. This is crazy. This is nuts, man. This is nuts. It's not just nuts there. It's nuts here, too, because this guy goes ready to die. A guy wearing a Chucky mask terrorizes Center City in Philly. Wow. I know it's discouraging, Jim, but for what it's worth, you're my favorite channel. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I just don't know. What's up, Mr. Mustang? How you doing? Hola, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien, gracias. I don't know. We go from 300 people to this many, and nobody hits like, nobody subscribes. A masked man wearing a Chucky doll disguise was seen on camera targeting several people with 6 near city center Philadelphia reporting the strange behavior. One of the instances included a woman who was out for a morning run. Police said the masked man asked her if she was ready to die. Trump's pick for the district came in second, 7.2% behind. I didn't even know who Trump's pick was. What's up, Tiberius? Thanks for being here. All the Islamists. Yeah. David Bowie, Mata Hoople. That's right. All the young dudes. Yeah. David Bowie wrote that song specifically for them because he didn't want them to break up, Mata Hoople. He had another song that he wanted them to, that he had for them. Suffragette City. He had Suffragette City. He was going to give it to them. They didn't like Suffragette City. They said it was too pop for them, not folksy enough. So then he wrote All the Young Dudes for him. Mm-hmm. Catalina Lauf. Yeah. I would have known. I didn't know Trump. I did not know Trump endorsed Catalina Lauf. I would have voted for Catalina Lauf had I known that. Like, sub, and share. That's right. No one knocks on my door campaigning, only window salesmen. Yeah, what is with all the fucking people trying to sell me windows all the time? Oh, thank you, Trooper. Authorities believe the suspect is a black male around 16 to 20 years old. You don't say. A series of incidents spanned 15 minutes early Wednesday morning near City Hall.
Investigators say this guy was running up to people, making threats, even asked a woman if she was ready to die. Now take a look at your screen. This is who police say was causing all that commotion last Wednesday morning. They released these images. They say he was wearing that Chucky doll style face mask that you see there just after 5 a.m. on August 12th. And in nearly 15 minutes, investigators say he had interactions with at least half a dozen people. Police say during that time, he entered at least one business, ran up to several people on the southwest side of City Hall, and then chased a man. Police say a very scary interaction, though, came with a jogger. The man chased down 15th Street.
A jogger.
Male then gets in front of our complainant. He's holding his cell phone up in front of her, at which time he asks her, "Are you ready to die?" Complainant appears startled, at which time the male asks her again if she's ready to die. Clearly, she's not ready to die. So she takes off southbound on 15th Street. In the process, she injures her leg. The males observed pursuing her back in the direction they had come from Market Street. The complainant was screaming for help this entire time. Male abruptly stops.
Now, police say in videos and images they have of the suspect, his phone is out in his hand. It appears to be on. They believe he was filming these encounters. It's unclear if this is part of some social media trend, but the department's intelligence unit is now part of this investigation. And while they know this guy interacted with multiple people, that last jogger that you saw, that is the only person they have spoken to so far. They are asking anyone else who may have had an interaction with this guy to come forward so they can find him. They say if and when he's caught, he'll face charges of terroristic threats, simple assault, and more. For now, live outside police headquarters.
Wow. So yeah, I got a terrorist running around terrorizing people. Gigi's mom. Thanks so much, Gigi's mom, for gifting a membership over on the Rumble. And it went to Dog Digger. Welcome to the JimSomniacs, Dog Digger. And thank you again, Gigi's mom. With that donation, that puts us now $78 away, just $78 away from adding a second additional hour to the show. So we're getting close, folks. We're 3/4 of the way there. Thank you so much for the gift of membership. We look forward every day to hearing the news. Well, thank you, Kim. Thank you so much. I love my wooden windows. Windows and a new roof. Our roof is almost new. Yeah, I mean, my house is 10 years old. And they come all the time asking about roofs. And I'm like, what are you doing? The house is 10 years old. No knife, not the real Chucky. Just think Halloween's only 2 months away. That's right. Rumble clap. Yep. Given to the Dog Digger the day he discovered it was made a mod. Yeah, that's right. Roof sales got to be through the roof. Yeah. Bigfoot takes care of turd. Big Boot takes care of turd. Oh, thank you. Criminal Minds type of freak. Yeah. Does anyone remember Mata Hoople? I remember Mata Hoople. Yes. I just told you about Mata Hoople. David Bowie loved Mata Hoople. They were getting ready to break up. They told David Bowie they were going to break up as a band. David Bowie says, no, I don't want you to break up. I'm a huge fan. I'm going to help you. And so he tried to give him the song Suffragette City. Welcome to Suffragette City. Well, all right. Remember that song? Well, they said, no, we don't like that song. It's too poppy for us. And he said, hold on. Give me a minute. Wrote the song. All the young dudes gave it to them, sang backing vocals and did some other stuff. And basically made Mata Hoople not break up and actually put him back, in irrelevance. Maybe it's from the new metal roofs. I don't know. 15 candidates on the AK Senate seat. What a Charlie Fox. You ain't kidding. Worst thing the U.S. has done is close the insane asylums. Young dudes carry the news. All the young dudes. It's a good song, yeah. Attaboy, Jim. Yep. According to the police chief, the suspect entered Dunkin' Donuts wearing a distinctive Chucky doll mask. He explained during a news conference. He was holding a cell phone in front of her, at which point he said, are you ready to die? After leaving the restaurant, the suspect approached several people. Police say he appeared to be recording the encounters. Like, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say if you did that in a place like, I don't know, Florida, you might end up ventilated. The suspect could face charges including terroristic threats, harassment, assault, reckless endangerment, and intimidation. He also said they intend to pursue a weapons-related charge because the suspect kept his right arm behind his back while making the threat. A witness named Jamaica said she noticed what was happening, attempted to alert the female jogger. I started to wave at her from across the intersection. Hey, there's somebody behind you. Behind you. Look behind you. Wow. Wow. Damn it. I'm trying to be serious. So am I. I'm being 100% serious. I'm being serious too. Well, all right. So glad Byron won. Yeah. So Jamaica said she confronted the masked man herself and kicked him in the chest. Just seemed so disoriented about his goals actually were. I had bags. He wasn't reaching for those. She added that the man's behavior did not appear focused on entering La Combe near the coffee shop for any obvious reason. It didn't seem like he had a clear goal, just getting into Calungumbles. And you can fight, and he couldn't. Let's see if you can fight. I was like, okay, let's see if you can fight. Yeah. There is a YouTube channel that does silent videos like that with clown masks, like the ones from Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Oh, maybe that's the guy then. Gundam, we talked about this story already. The prosecutor in Minnesota charged with the sex trafficking thing. They talked about that story. We did. We talked about that story already. Mm-hmm. Police continue to search for the suspect. Well, they identified him as a black male. Oh, well, we saw this story already. We already did this one. Outrage of Virginia Islamist illegal immigrant found not guilty by reason of insanity and landlords killing flees to Tajikistan. Yeah, we got this one already. Ninth Circus slaps down Trump's DOJ. Judges rule that Sigal Chadha is unlawful serving as Nevada's acting attorney. I mean, at some point, the Supreme Court is going to have to step in and rule that this rule about judges getting to pick these attorneys is unconstitutional, because this is ridiculous. Like, why the prosecuting people? It's totally the president's choice. So far, total votes for governor in Florida, Republicans are over 400,000 total votes. A 3-judge panel on the Ninth Circuit ruled that Sigal Chadha is not lawfully serving as Nevada's acting U.S. attorney, holding that the Trump administration cannot bypass federal vacancy limits by naming her first assistant after the vacancy arose. The controversy began when Nevada's U.S. attorney resigned on January 17th under the Federal Vacancies Reform Act. Then first assistant U.S. attorney Sue Fahmy automatically became acting U.S. attorney. 2 months later, Bondi issued this order appointing Chadha as interim U.S. attorney, allowing the attorney general to fill the position temporarily. The appointment was limited to 120 days and was scheduled to expire. This is just a scam. They're trying to prevent Trump's people from being able to enforce the law. This keeps going on. It's been 2 fucking years, and we still don't have U.S. attorneys appointed. This is all on the fucking Senate. This is ridiculous. Did you say Robert SCOTUS must do what? They need to stop this from happening. And Trump has been president 2 years. There's still U.S. attorneys, never a vacancy's not filled. Like, what the fuck is going on in the Senate? Trump needs to start going after these senators by name and telling them this is ridiculous. Like, what's the purpose of voting for Republicans if this is how they're going to fucking act? I mean, seriously. They're slow walking everything. It's all on Thune. This is ridiculous. So in the unanimous decision written by Trump-appointed Judge Eric Miller and joined by fellow Trump appointee Stanley Bloomfield and Clinton appointee, affirms the lower court order disqualifying Chadha from supervising certain criminal prosecutions. These cases present the questions whether the Attorney General can make someone acting U.S. attorney bypassing the usual requirements that the U.S. attorney be confirmed by the Senate. Okay. So I guess we can't have any cases then because there's no U.S. attorneys. We hold the Attorney General cannot do so. Okay. But do you think that you judges get to pick? That's in the Constitution? This happened in his first term. He finished the term with vacancies for all 4 years. Yeah, I know. This is fucking ridiculous. They also reject the idea that the Attorney General can create a de facto acting U.S. attorney by handing over every function and duty to the office through delegation. They just want, you have to have Democrats. You can't have U.S. attorneys that aren't Democrats, I guess. This is ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. It really is. Oh, and then you know what? I want to know what else is crazy? Yeah. All right. More craziness. Remember that woman that vandalized the World War II memorial? The crazy woman that filmed it, thought it was funny, vandalizing it? A fucking judge ordered her released. Unelected tyrannical judges. Yep, 100%. What's up, Roselle? Great to see you. Janine Pirro has criticized the judge's order to release the woman accused of vandalizing the World War II memorial. Yes, it's beyond ridiculous. This crazy lady. Kentucky woman accused of vandalizing the nation's National Mall's World War II memorial was released from custody with directions to avoid the monument. U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia decried the order that 41-year-old Melissa Ferris, also known as Melissa Lovewell, was let go on Monday. Ferris was arrested last week and charged via criminal complaint with willfully injuring or committed a deprivation against United States property. She appeared to have live streamed herself graffitiing the Atlantic Theater Pavilion with spray paint on the Facebook. Yeah, the sad part is some of the Republicans voted against or not vote at all, yet voted for all of President Potato's people. Yes. Yep, Donald's won. Yeah, he's going to, yeah, he won. Defacing the memorial is a disgusting act and an insult to Americans who fought and died for our country. It's crazy. This is nuts. The memorial stands in honor of the 16 million veterans who served, the millions who supported the war effort, and the 400,000 heroes who never came home. Vandalizing a monument dedicated to the sacrifice is a shameful attack on the legacy of this nation. I hope she runs into a veteran in a dark alley. The Gripers are freaking out. Oh, yeah, the Gripers wanted Fishback. Fishback not going to win. Yeah, Fishback was no way. Fishback was a super creep. He's super creepy. Ow. Defacing the memorial is a disgusting act. That's right. The 2 felony vandalism counts could land her a maximum of 10 years in prison. The vandal was released on a personal recognizance bond on the condition that she surrender her passport, remain in the country, and avoid the memorial in Washington. Shortly after the hearing, prosecutors filed a motion urging the judge to reconsider. Defendant's actions, as well as her history and characteristics, demonstrate that she presents a serious risk of flight and non-compliance with release conditions. According to the complaint, the U.S. Park Police were called at about 2 p.m. Why was Fishback creepy? Stuff that came out about him involving students that he worked at a school and had some relationship with some underage girls. You didn't hear about that? Yeah. Fishback got 175,000 people to vote for him in November. Put those on the Dem column. Yeah. A park ranger noted foam in the fountain. Clean hands, dirty money was spray painted. U.S. Park Police have already arrested the woman days earlier for unlawful camping on federal property a few blocks away. So she was already arrested for camping on. Oh, God. She's been arrested already. So the preliminary hearing is set for September 3rd. Who's Fishback? He's some guy who was running for governor in Florida. Came like just all of a sudden came out of nowhere claiming to be a Republican, all this stuff. He has like real weird stuff in his background. Like just didn't he was against the U.S. being a tool of Israel. That was his main thing. Judge orders the release of the Kentucky woman for vandalizing the thing. Federal judge releases the crazy woman after defacing the World War II memorial. No cash bail required. Yeah, she didn't even have to pay any money. They just let her go. Just let her go. Just go ahead, go. No money. Don't worry. You're fine. You're fine. Just go ahead, go. Wow. Marco Rubio announces that sanctions against the International Criminal Court president. It's about time. No, you didn't hear it? Byron from New York gathers insider trading like all in Congress. I don't know about any of that. I'm just saying, like, I know what I heard the reports, and that he like owes somebody like a lot of money, like he got sued for a bunch of money. So I don't know. Someone put his name in a hat or pulled the shortest straw. I don't know. I listened to a podcast in the early morning. The host said Fishback shows up from nowhere. He might be a mole from the left. Yeah. Let's think he was nowhere around in anything. I don't get how she's only 41. She looks way older. Yeah, she looked like she was in her late 50s. Randy Fine annihilated the Groyper in his primary. Oh, yeah. Who was running against Randy Fine? Was that Dan Bazilian or whatever his name is? Dan Brazikian? Dan Blazarian, something like that. Was that the guy running against Randy Fine? I don't know. I'm not a fan of Randy Fine either. Like, I don't want anybody who says all that stuff about, like, you're supposed to be a United States congressman. Clearly, he's got loyalties that aren't to the U.S. I think it was supposed to be a mole, not a mold, a mole, M-O-L-E. I'm voting straight Republican midterms, but if anyone wants to know who I voted for today, you can refresh the page and order the comments by newest. Yeah, Blazarian. Yeah, Blazarian and Fishback were both polling at like 1%. They got laws passed. Only lawyers can be judges. Secretary of State Rubio announced on Tuesday that sanctions against the president of the ICC and another official amid the Trump administration's campaign to dismantle the international body. Good. The ICC sucks. We don't need them. They need to go bye-bye. Sanctions were imposed on ICC President Tomoko Akane, a Japanese national and ICC senior trial lawyer, Abadole Seye, a Senegalese national who investigated alleged war crime carried out by Israel. The individuals have directly engaged in efforts by the ICC to investigate, arrest, detain, or prosecute officials whose government has not consented to ICC jurisdiction. Sorry for what? Oh, about the mole thing? We bowed to the lawyer and banker. Well, I think the Fed should get abolished. I think the IRS should get abolished. I think we should severely change the way our legal system works, because right now it's not working for everyone. It's not. Karen O says, I hate politics and government fraud, abuses, lies, and tyrannical behavior. I quit following now. Way too depressing. I'm almost dead to their actions. Tired. Well, I'm sorry. I just talk about what I see, and this is what I see. I wish there was good stories. I wish I had stories to tell you about unicorns and rainbows and everything was great. But it's not. We're in hard times, and we have to be aware of what's going on. If we just ignore it and put our head in the sand, eventually you're going to wake up in a gulag. So I got to pay attention. You got to see what's coming. You got to be ready to fight. The ICC has attempted to assert authority over the U.S. citizens and nationals of other countries that have not consented to the Rome Statute. The United States is not a party to the court. The ICC did not respond to an Epoch Times request for comment. Our whole of government campaign to dismantle the threat posed by the ICC to national sovereignty will be sweeping, and we expect more countries to join our campaign by ending their funding and participation in this politicized and unaccountable court. Yep. It'll get better. We need to win the midterms. Yeah, if we can win the midterms, it'll be better. So, the sanctions against Akane and Say were issued under a Trump executive order last year authorizing the sanctions against the court. In July, Rubio said the Trump administration would seek to dismantle the ICC by using visa revocation, sanctions, and targeting of individuals. The American people never agreed to any of this, and they never will. Read the words of our Declaration of Independence. We fought a revolution against a foreign power transporting us beyond the seas to be tried for pretended offenses. Independence is our birthright. We will never let foreign bureaucrats take that away from us. That's what they want. That's what the demon rats want. They want to be able to use these foreigners to target their political opponents. The court was established in 2002 to prosecute war crimes and crimes against humanity under the Rome Statute, has been adopted by more than 120 countries. Countries that do not recognize the court's authority includes the United States, China, Russia, Israel, India, Saudi Arabia, and more. However, the ICC's argued that the Rome Statute gives the court power to prosecute war crimes committed on the territory of member states by nationals of non-member states. The Trump administration imposed targeted sanctions last year on several ICC officials, such as prosecutors and judges, citing a 2024 decision to issue arrest warrants for Bibi Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant over what the court alleged were improper actions carried out by the Israeli government during its war in Gaza. Earlier this year, 3 sitting judges sued the Trump administration over sanctions, arguing they were unlawful. No, they're not. And earlier this month, multiple human rights groups sued the administration over the sanctions, describing actions as unconstitutional. No, the fucking ICC is unconstitutional. They have no control over us. We are sovereign. We did not relinquish our sovereignty. No fucking president, no Congress can relinquish the American citizen sovereignty. Sorry, you don't have that fucking authority. The plaintiffs are seeking to end the sanction regime which transgressed the president's authority and violates international and U.S. law. No. The ICC violates U.S. law. You think Wyoming forgot how to count? Probably. We, the people, are sovereign. Yes, we are sovereign. All of us. You are all sovereign. Nobody can relinquish your rights. Same thing here. U.S. sanctions, ICC President Tomoko Akane. So, good. Good news. U.S. sanctions, criminal court president. Good. We like this. So, the move is the latest escalation in the Trump administration. They imposed targeted sanctions on several officials. In June, the court sued Trump administration. Secretary Rubio last month announced the administration would step up efforts to undermine the ICC. Good. This needs to happen. This really does. This needs to happen. The court needs to go away. It's trying to impose itself. They tried to bring charges against Americans before. Yeah. They have no authority over Americans. Yes. Please, people, don't let the news make you give up on freedom. Vote, no matter what. Vote. Red down the ballot. Fuck the commies. That's right. That's what I say. That's what I say. That's what I say. But who am I? I'm just a guy sitting here trying to talk to you about the news. That's all I can do. Talking about news. Everybody news. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Get to the next story here. 14 arrested and charged at Penn State fraternities for large-scale cocaine trafficking operation. Wow. So cocaine at Penn State. Cutting and packaging cocaine was reportedly part of the pledge indoctrination rituals. 14 people, some sources say 13, were arrested and charged for cocaine trafficking at Penn State's Delta Upsilon and Sigma Chi fraternities. Sigma Chi, I don't know. Today, 17 Pennsylvania AG said suspects were the main coke suppliers, Augustino Abatello and Thomas Robinson. So it's up to 17. What do you see the photos? Oh, I can imagine. Whoa. 13 Penn State fraternity brothers charged with running major cocaine trafficking ring, with some pledges forced to cut and package coke as part of their indoctrination in the frats. Frat bros arrested for trafficking cocaine and even forcing pledges to sell it for them in order to join a fraternity. Oh, pronounced Kai like Sky. Okay. What? That is weird. What just happened there? What is going on? My computer's acting crazy doing stuff.
What we learned during this investigation was that between 2023 and 2024, large amounts of cocaine, kilos, were brought from Philadelphia and New York to State College, where they were cut and packaged for sale primarily to Penn State students.
The drug operation, dubbed Operation Drugs Unlimited, involved Penn State fraternities Delta Upsilon and Sigma Chi. In a statement on Penn State's website, the university said Delta Upsilon is temporarily suspended while the school's student affairs team investigates the charges, and Sigma Chi is not recognized as a school organization and that it operates outside the university's support and oversight.
Wow. Interesting. So members of that allegedly cut and packaged coke inside their frat houses off campus and distributed to students. Pittsburgh man accused of leading cocaine trafficking ring involving 2 Penn State secure fraternities. Thomas Robinson, 23-year-old Pittsburgh man, has been identified as one of the ringleaders.
The Channel 11 Breaking News Desk.
I'm Jatara McGee, live on the Breaking News Desk, tracking a cocaine trafficking operation uncovered at Penn State with more than a dozen people now facing charges. We told you back in 2024 that this man here, Thomas Robinson of Pittsburgh, was facing drug charges, but we're just now getting a bigger picture of what the Attorney General called an organized drug trafficking operation at
Why, is
Penn
it acting
State.
weird?
Day Sunday calling Robinson second in command of this operation, which allegedly involved large amounts of cocaine being brought back to 2 off-campus fraternity houses, Delta Upsilon and Sigma Chi. Now, fraternity brothers and pledges were allegedly cutting and packaging drugs for sale. Penn State officials said Sigma Chi is not a recognized organization at the university, and Delta Upsilon has now been placed on suspension. They added criminal activity, including hazing such as this, has no place in our institution, and we will cooperate with law enforcement in any way we can. In all, 14 people facing charges, most of them students, many of them facing felony charges in connection with this ring. Live on the Breaking News Desk, Jatara McGee, Channel 11 News.
Wow. That's crazy. Oof. Bananas and rice court. Hey, what's up, Doan? Good to see you. Penn State was the college that was pro-trans women in sports. Yeah, there was also Sandusky and all that stuff and the crazy shit. You said it was acting strange on your end. Oh, yeah, it is. It is. It was acting strange. I just adjusted my cooling. We'll see how it works. It was, for some reason, it's been acting weird. What's up, Doan? Good to see you. Yeah, good alert. So, let's see. Let me know if you guys can hear the fans. So it was coordinated, organized cocaine trafficking operation with regular trips to the city for large amounts of cocaine being brought back to the fraternities. There was nothing junior or childlike about this conduct. Me and my friends rented part of a house and threw better parties than the faggoty frat boys. Fags paddle each other. That's what they do. So Abatello had been distributing cocaine as recently as February, the grand jury alleged, when he learned that law enforcement was investigating. He allegedly begged people to not disclose his involvement. Multiple people who testified in front of the grand jury referred to him as the largest dealer of cocaine for Penn State students and said he was making considerable amounts of money in the business. Prosecutors cast Agostino S. Abatayo of New York as head of the high-level operation. I wonder if he's mobbed up. Bella's position is cracking you up. Why is she? Cannot hear the fans. Okay, good. No fan sounds. All right, let me know if you hear them, if they start to ramp up. So that's a good story. Same thing here. You know, massive drug bust. Students top of the chain.
I'm Attorney General Dave Sunday, and we're here in State College today to announce charges against more than a dozen individuals in connection with a drug trafficking operation revolving around a pair of fraternities for Penn State University students. All but one of the charged defendants were Penn State University students at or around the time of this alleged criminal conduct. These charges were the result of a long-term investigation between the Office of Attorney General, Bureau of Narcotics Investigation, State College Police Department, and a pair of statewide investigating grand juries impaneled by my office. What we learned during this investigation was that between 2023 and 2024, large amounts of cocaine, kilos, were brought from Philadelphia and New York to State College, where they were cut and packaged for sale primarily to Penn State students. The two main dealers, the top of the chain, if you will, were senior members of the Delta Upsilon and Sigma Chi fraternities. Agostino Abatiello was at the very top of the chain. Thomas Robinson was a rung below that on the ladder. And this poster here shows Operation Drugs Unlimited, and it shows the hierarchy of the organization. The evidence presented to the grand jury led to a recent presentment and recommendation of charges against 14 defendants. The evidence showed that cocaine was primarily packaged at the fraternity houses and that packaging was done by fraternity brothers and oftentimes pledges. In fact, we found a pattern of events that showed cutting and bagging cocaine was, for some pledges, an indoctrination into the Delta Upsilon and Sigma Chi fraternities. Before I get into further details on the investigation and conduct, let me tell you about the charges. And I want to emphasize that all of these individuals are presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty. Agostino Abatiello, Thomas Robinson, and two others, Mohammed Harabi and Lars Ziepfat, are charged with felony corrupt organizations because this was a coordinated and organized cocaine trafficking operation with regular trips to those source cities and large amounts of cocaine being brought back to these fraternities. They are also charged with conspiracy, dealing in proceeds of unlawful activity, and related offenses. A fifth person, Robert Zanola, is charged with felony conspiracy and criminal use of communication facility and related misdemeanors. These are the 5 primary dealers. The 8 other student-age defendants in this case have been charged with misdemeanor counts of drug possession and paraphernalia. The only non-student charge is Thomas Robinson's father, Paul Robinson, who we allege took steps to conceal evidence, including a safe containing drugs and cash.
Wow. That's crazy. A safe containing drugs and cash. Why would they do something like that? That's nuts, man. That's absolutely nuts that they would do something like that. Wow. That's a lot of stuff. So they got him. They busted. 12 others charged in the cocaine ring. So that's good. Check this out. ICE lodges a detainer against an illegal alien accused of hit and run that left North Carolina father lying dead in the streets. Wow. They're getting it from New York and New Jersey, brought to Philly and spread through colleges. Yep. That's what it looked like. Wasn't that the university that had Biden's classified documents hidden? It is. I just wonder if maybe that's where Hunter got his drugs from. It's a joke. It's a joke, man. Joke, man. It's a joke, man. Just a joke. Just the jokes, man. Just the jokes. Oh, look at, what a nice white man. Oh, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement announced a detainer against illegal alien accused of hit and run to claim the life of a North Carolina father. WYFFA4 reports that James Robert Bagley III was struck and killed by a hit and run. The 51-year-old was left to die in the streets. It is crazy. 20 years in Club Fed. A bunch of folks just flushed their lives down the head. Yeah. Philly Northeast is Sinaloa territory. Yeah. The driver, Marcelo Hazeshu Alberto Sarmienta, has been arrested. Mark Wayne Mueller told Fox News, we're asking officials in Jackson County to cooperate. Wow. Here's the local story. Silva police seek driver from hit and run.
It's 6:44 in time for news to go.
For those that are
ahead.
All of these college change in the next. We will. This is.
Where's the story about the hit and run? Oh, of course, it's not even there. So, police say this man was hit by a car at 2:45 a.m. We're asking for the public's help in locating the person. I don't know. What the hell? That's not even the story. It's not even in there. Jerks. Navy destroyer loses power for 4 days in the South China Sea. Well, I mean, there is a little more to the story. You know, there's a little bit more to the story. We'll get into it in 1 second. There's a little bit more to the story. We'll get to it 1 second. As soon as I got the last one. All right. There we go. So Navy destroyer loses power for 4 days in the South China Sea. The 4 days while deployed to South China Sea, leaving sailors without drinkable water, prepared meals, working toilets. The Benfold was sailing with the George Washington Carrier Strike Group when an engineering casualty involving its generators caused a complete loss of power. The Navy did not immediately explain why the incident was not disclosed earlier. Other ships traveling with the Carrier Strike Group, including the cruiser Robert Smalls, provided meals to Benfold as the destroyer was towed to port in the Philippines. So this is crazy. This is a crazy story. Look at this. Thanks for the treat for 5 joules. New Jack City, but a college kid. Yeah, another 5 joules. Thank you. Internal management and security failure. Which way to the nuclear vessels? That's right. They probably had a bad OPSEC. It's what sounds like ducks in a pond. Yeah. You got a dog biscuit somewhere. I was kind of skeptical. She's sleeping. I don't want to. Amazing how it wasn't common knowledge on campus. I'm sure a bunch of people knew about it. So there was no injuries to the crew. Power was restored on July 30th, and Benfold resumed operations about a week later. Like, don't they have machinist mates and stuff like that on the ship that should know how to fix this stuff, and electricians? So the Washington is heading to the Middle East to relieve the Abraham Lincoln. More than a dozen warships were sent to the Caribbean beginning last fall. Dozens of U.S. warships have been deployed to the Middle East. Gerald Ford suffered a fire and problems with its toilet system before returning to Norfolk. Seems like there's a lot of people sabotaging stuff. I wonder if a loose wire popped out of a terminal like in Baltimore. Yeah, I mean, seems like there's a lot of stuff happening, and I wonder how much of it might be sabotage, like actual sabotage from people. Man, the Haitians are walking around with ankle bracelets until their hearings. Yeah. Because like CNN reports on U.S. Navy destroyer that spent 4 days without power last month. Multiple sailors try to jump overboard. Oh, look at this. Here's how the news is made. The wife of a sailor who attempted to jump overboard on an aircraft carrier either posted about it online or emailed her story to a reporter at the Military Times, which is not affiliated with the military. The Military Times reporter writes up the anecdote and publishes it, and suddenly there's a media frenzy about hordes of sailors trying to commit suicide. CNN's Marie Caitlin Collins picks up the story and interviews the wife over Zoom. People post photos of meager meals, which even Snopes steps in to debunk. Aircraft carriers don't have cinder block walls. Like, it's crazy that they're just immediately trying to rush out to push the story out. I had a genius idea. I'm a couple margaritas in. We pay rewards to anyone for info that leads to deportation. Sounds good to me. Sabotage and lack of repair parts. That's what I'm talking about. Real crime is ineptitude. Terrible organization. I'm kidding. Let them jump in. What a video that would have been. Yeah. A TikTok video of grimy shower, stained floors, and filthy toilets goes viral, except discerning viewers note that the sailor is wearing a construction helmet, meaning the ship's not currently deployed. Yeah. The Military Times and the branch equivalents owned by the New York Times in real life. Yeah. Acting Secretary of the Navy, Hung Chow, posted a lengthy statement saying, unfortunately, the media is trying to paint our warriors as victims. Not only is that dishonest, it takes away the focus from the enemy. The Navy is leading to multiple stories. CNN's top story about conditions saying multiple sailors are trying to jump overboard. A U.S. Navy guided missile destroyer spent 4 days without working toilets galley service and air conditioning in the blistering heat after the warship lost power. Is this Trump's fault somehow? Like, when was this ship built? Was it built under Obama? Wouldn't that make it Obama's problem? The incident was due to an engineering failure aboard the warship. Another setback as concerns mount over a heavy strain on the Navy due to the Iran war commitments. Like, are you saying that our Navy can't be at sea? What the fuck are you talking about? I'm against a CNO named Hung Chao, who thought that was a good idea. This guy is supposedly based as shit. Roxy Loxy says, I received a YouTube membership. Thank you. Yep, a whole bunch got turned out today. The largest cocaine bust of the time in 2019 was at the port of Philadelphia, 20 tons. Yeah. Did you see that Captain Dan Crenshaw said we should be eating ramen when his net worth went up to 70% since elected Congress? Oh, okay. So what's your point? They're doing their job to keep the narrative alive. Good grief. Are you going to report on every maintenance issue the Navy encounters? Yeah, Chow is a stone patriot. That's what I thought. Believe it or not, I think he's, if I'm not mistaken, I believe he's like, I don't know what, I don't think he's Chinese. I think he's Vietnamese or something like that, where like he was born, I believe he was born in the U.S. Like his parents came, I think his parents came from Vietnam before the fall of Saigon, I think. Yeah, he's Vietnamese. That's what I thought. He's not Chinese. His family was part of the South Vietnamese that came to the U.S. after, South Vietnam. Yeah. So in 88, I was given a tour of a frigate at Pearl Harbor. The EO explained that only the area of the ship that was air conditioned was the Combat Information Center protecting critical electronics. So I thought CNN was for the European model of no AC. Yeah. No AC, oh no, the horror. You had a problem with steak and lobster a few weeks ago. Why is CNN circling the drain? There were weak ones in the Air Force back in 97 that cried when they were told we were deploying to Kuwait. They only joined for college money. Yeah, that's what happens. Jim, your guys in Navy are maybe a little weak. I read somewhere that women are complaining they don't have feminine products. I slept on sand and wiped with MRE TP. Toughen up. That's what I say. Cow. Yeah, not Chow, cow. I pronounce it wrong. Han Jing. Yes. CNN's more interested in highlighting bad without ever talking about the good. No. CNN was handed a narrative by the Military Times and they decided to keep it alive. President Trump and Secretary of War Pete Hegseth had let the Navy deteriorate to the point where sailors are jumping overboard. Anything to reduce morale. It's crazy. It's crazy. Here's CBS News. USS Benfold Navy destroyer went without power for days. Well, guided missile destroyer spent 4 days without power. Impacted plumbing, meals, toilets, and air conditioning. Well, so, I mean, we'll have to see how they report it here real quick.
We're going to begin this hour with news of another troubling incident aboard a U.S. Navy ship. The guided missile destroyer USS Benfold lost power for 4 days during its deployment in Southeast Asia in July. This was not publicly disclosed for nearly a month. Charlie Daggett is here with the details. So, Charlie, why are we just learning about this now?
Yeah, Vlad, it's a pretty good question to start with, right? And I think it's probably because there's a lot of attention on the Navy right now, and this happened in the South China Sea. But yeah, we just found out about it yesterday, and we're getting more details about it. It doesn't happen that often, I have to point out. But what we know is the loss of power left the crew without air conditioning, toilets, potable water, normal gallery services aboard this 10,000-ton vessel. So here's what we know. According to a spokesperson with the Navy's 7th Fleet, the ship lost power in the South China Sea back on July 24th after a generator failure. Another vessel, the USS Robert Smalls, that's a cruiser, had to help provide meals to the crew. The destroyer was then towed to Subic Bay in the Philippines on July 28th, so power was restored 2 days later. Now, all the repairs to the ship were finished by August 8th. The Navy says there were no casualties. But the cause of the power loss is still under investigation. And as you know, we've been discussing this. This comes as the Navy is facing all kinds of questions aboard the Abraham Lincoln, including reports of mental health concerns. The carrier has been deployed for 270 days without going to port during the war with Iran. So, again, the Pentagon has pushed back on those reports. Now, with the Benfold being in the South China Sea, besides the conditions being really hot and stuffy and uncomfortable, I've been on one of those destroyers. For those,
I've been on one of those destroyers. Well, good for you. I don't know. Maybe some wanted to investigate the clusterfuck and not have the press running retarded shit. Yeah, I mean, that would make sense. That would make a lot of sense to me personally. But, you know, what are you going to do? The Chinese military is smoke and mirrors laced with infighting. That's what I think. That's how I feel about it. But, you know, who am I? Just some idiot. Just an idiot on the internet that likes to talk. You know. What you going to do? Imagine these limp wrists in Task Force 38. Oh, yeah, it would be crazy, wouldn't it? Let's see, what do we got here? Oh, look at Lurch Linger with 5 on the Cash App. Thank you so much, Lurch. Thank you for the 5 on the Cash App. That means right now we're just 73 away from adding a second additional hour. Thank you so much. Let me take care of this.
people on board, it's not in friendly waters. And officials that I spoke with said there are still what they call crew-served weapons on board that enable it to defend itself. It's also obviously protected with other air and surface assets nearby. In their words, they're not going to leave an asset to attack, in their words, like a sitting duck. Gail?
Boy, that's very scary. Thank you.
It's very scary, very scary, very scary. So. If only we had the Save America Act. Scott Presser unearths video of Minnesota election officials telling workers, do not ask for ID. That's right. Look at this person. Oh, my God. The death of us all. This is going to be the death of us all, these people. Obama had a Navy boat and sailors captured by Iran. Yeah, he told them surrender. They all surrendered to Iran. The leader is named Sumting Wong. That's right. Remember when Clintons murdered their own CNO, Mike Borda, because he didn't want women on ships? Yes. Remember that? That's crazy. Has anyone ever seen Obama swim? No. And his chef, he drowned his chef. Let's face it, Minnesota doesn't hold election. They cosplay elections. A new training video unearthed by Scott Presser said that from the video, the election official says, don't ask for identification. Don't do anything. It's against the law to ask.
Ask them for their name and address. Do not ask a voter to look at the roster themselves to locate their name. Do not ask them to see an identification card. However, if a voter presents identification, thank the voter and inform them that an identification card is not required if they are registered. This announcement is not only for the voter in front of you, but for other voters in line who should not feel required to produce an identification card. In some circumstances, the identification card might be helpful, but make it clear that it is not required. The voter may say that they have a difficult name to spell and provide their identification to make the process easier to find their name. Or a voter might have problems speaking, and so the identification serves as their way of communicating their name and address. Once you know the name and address of the voter, and you are using a paper roster, search and find the voter's name. Check the page for any roster notations. Hide challenges on other voter records from view. Have the voter confirm their name and address. Point to the oath at the top of the roster page and have.
I mean, really, what would prevent, 50,000 or 100,000 people just going into Minnesota and going, and pretending your name is whatever and just voting and fuck them. They seem to don't want ID, so just go there and vote, I guess. I'm not saying to do that. I'm just saying what would prevent somebody from doing that? Speaking what? English? Say it, bitch. That's right. It's their best when they know they're going to be on camera. Yeah. Looks like the trans freak from PA who ended up as Biden's medical dude. I was going to say this person looks very creepy.
Have them review the oath. Instruct the voter to sign their name on the line of the roster page to affirm the voter's oath. Give them a voter receipt and direct them to the ballot judge. Now, if an electronic roster is used, search and find the voter's name, ask the voter to confirm their name and address, and have the voter review the voter's oath. Instruct the voter to sign to affirm the voter's oath. As the judge, you will retain the signed voter signature certificate, issue a ballot receipt to the voter, and direct the voter to the ballot judge. Please note that the signature may be electronic on the screen or on paper, So follow your local election official instructions.
Sometimes it is difficult to find a voter's name. Check for spelling errors or
Yeah, you can't buy bananas in New York City without getting carded. That's right. Waste, fraud, and abuse. People must file a complaint. That's right. People must file a complaint. It must get filed. It must get filed. Must get filed. This is crazy. So the polling finds a vast majority of Americans support voter ID. 83% support it. If only the Senate would pass the SAVE Act, but John Thune refuses to do it. John Thune refuses to do it. Passing a law is a legal way to cheat. Yeah. That's what they're doing. This story. Russia is reportedly resupplying Iran as U.S.-Russia tensions persist. Or shovel snow without an ID. That's right. If you want to shovel snow in New York, you got to have an ID. So Russia is reportedly shipping drone components, ammunition, and explosives to Iran to help Tehran replenish its military stockpiles. The NBC reports shipments traveling across the Caspian Sea, citing a document from a European government that the network said was verified by a Western official. 24 Russian vessels transported materials. Shipments included drone components, small arms, ammunition, and stuff which Iran ballistic missile warheads and drones use TNT. So a CNN analyst said that Iran's purchase from Russia target suggests U.S.-Israeli strikes have damaged their ability to manufacture some materials domestically. A Russian official rejected the allegations. We don't dignify fake news with an answer. Iran supplied Russia with Shahed drones used extensively in its war with Ukraine. Russia expanded military and intelligence cooperation with Iran in March. European foreign ministers pressed Rubio over allegations that Moscow was aiding Tehran, including through satellite imagery. Rubio downplayed Russia's involvement. I think Russia's primarily concentrating on their own war they've got going on. Beyond that, I don't have anything to add. I think they just want to see the U.S. go after Russia. Yeah, that's all they've been pushing it forever. I guess if we don't go to war with Russia, that means we're Putin's stooge. I don't know. Russia's been locked in a battle with Ukraine since 2022. Trump's best efforts to broker a settlement have repeatedly run into major differences between Moscow and the cocaine addict in Kiev. Rubio met with Sergei Lavrov in Manila in July, but Rubio said afterwards that new ideas would be needed to move the peace process forward. Lavrov accused Washington of being deeply involved in Ukrainian attacks against Russia, which they have been. Let's just say Michael Argenti, Steve Bannon's preferred candidate, got demolished in Florida's governor's race. Yeah, he got shellacked, dude. Yeah, it would be a good idea to get it on with Russia. Oh, yeah, it'd be a great idea. Yeah, Russia and China at the same time. That would be great. Russia and Iran have increasingly aligned against U.S. pressure. Early reports of Russian intelligence and military assistance have already raised concerns in Washington. Well, the voting is in. Winners and losers coming soon. So the precise quantity and military significance of the reported shipments remain unclear. They remain unclear. And what's not unclear is that the Smellies are out here committing piracy on the high seas again. Another cargo ship hijacked as smelly piracy surges. Look at them. Like, how are they doing it? How are they getting away with it? Houthis are reportedly arming and equipping the pirates. As the Strait of Hormuz remains closed, it's not closed, it's open, hundreds of commercial ships have been redirected to longer routes. An unnamed cargo ship was seized by armed men off the coast of Smelia, according to international monitors. It's a nice boat, ain't it? Someone needs to tell MTG we no longer give a hoot what she thinks. No thanks. We don't need to take over Russia. Too much vodka. Russia and Iran are developing an oil depot and railway hub on the north shore of the Caspian to bypass Hormuz. There's a warning, full warning. They received reports of south of Smelia of a cargo vessel being boarded by 8 armed, unauthorized persons. Hey, what's up, Glenn Croy? So good to see you. How you doing? Captain Phillips part due. So, 8 armed pirates boarded and took control of a merchant vessel near Smelia. The crew remained safe. Hey, Ameriqua, what's up? Good to see you. Yeah, float your boat. Just illegally vote. Yep. So Somali pirates are back. Well, I guess we're going to have to start schwacking pirates. Yes, howdy. Good to see you, too. Illegals wouldn't lie. No, they would never lie. They would never lie. Oh, look at this. They got Minneapolis has a back-to-school supply giveaway for American Indian students only. Professor files civil rights complaint, which, yeah, you can't do this stuff. The event's listed for being MPS, American Indian students only. Can't do this. A Minnesota school district's come under fire for providing school supply giveaway only for Native American students. A civil rights complaint has been filed alleging discrimination on the basis of race, color, and national origin. Minneapolis Public Schools American Indian Education Department promoted the August 24th and 5th event in which school distribution of backpacks and school supplies will take place. The event is listed as only being for American Indian students. You can't do that. We cannot control Russia and China backing Iran up. Believe me, they are. Yeah, they are. But just, what? Who, me? Who, me? The newcomers are good. Nobody ever said, except Democrats. That's right. A note for those seeking to participate that all students must be enrolled in MPS and have a completed federal 506 form and or tribal affiliation identification. Complaint is filed against Minneapolis schools for the giveaway reserved only for American Indian students. Professor who filed the complaint said it's illegal and objectionable for the district to offer segregated program exclusively for Indians. Because it is. The civil rights complaint filed with the Office for Civil Rights says it's a violation of Title VI. And said, excluding certain students based on their race and ethnicity, including students who are Asian, Black, White, and Hispanic. Please investigate for illegal discrimination. The complaint was filed with the University of Michigan professor who explained his decision to file the letter. As you should be aware, if you have no good intentions except exceptions to Title VI. Oh, yeah. His mom worked for a terrorist. It is. That's what happens. His mom is a terrorist. Just as it would be illegal for MPF to host an event that excludes American Indian students, it is equally illegal for you to offer segregated program exclusively for American Indians. Because it is. You can't do that. You can't do that. He demanded they either open it up to all students or cancel the event. The district facilitates several supply giveaways that are open to all students. The outlet was unable to identify any publicly advertised district-wide school supply giveaway. So yeah, no, they're lying. They're lying. They got caught and they're lying. That's all. They lie. Remember when Kamala said the border was secure? Yeah. Kamala was drunk. Mm-hmm. Casino Americans, not Slurpee Indians. That's right. They think they're on a reservation. They're going to steal those benefits too. Probably. The VA has programs for Indians alone, excluding any other veteran. I don't think they're supposed to. They don't even pay state taxes. Yeah, so bombshell. Abu al-Sayed's mother worked for a terror link group that funded Osama bin Laden, the Taliban, and Hamas. Of course she did. Of course she did. The Smellies are not part of the lawsuit because they get their stuff for free anyway. Yeah. The mother of the Democrat candidate worked for a terrorism link group. El-Sayed's half-sister is a radical professor at the University of Chicago. The mother worked for a terror group that funded Osama bin Laden. Of course she did. Yeah. Of course they did. Jacqueline El-Sayed, not long after he immigrated to the U.S., they ended up getting divorced. My mother remarried a gentleman who worked as a translator in the Middle East. Oh, so the translator worked for a terrorist group. What do you know? The Department of Treasury designated the network along with 5 senior officials as supporting terrorism, including support for bin Laden. The revelations add another politically sensitive issue for El-Sayed. El-Sayed's campaign biography emphasized that he was raised by his Egyptian immigrant father and his stepmother. What would it take for Democrats to abandon this guy? Are family connections to terrorists really not enough? Red alert, red alert, red alert. Birders, borders at the wheels of the bus go round and round, round and round. Bin Laden needed funding. His family's super rich. Yeah, well, they don't like to use their own money. Why use your own money when you can use somebody else's? Is the way they look at it. That's the way they look at it. That's the way they look at it. Over 20 blue states sued the Trump administration to shield 17 million CDL records and protect illegal alien truck drivers. What are they doing? A coalition of 20 communist states and the District of Columbia have filed lawsuits against the Trump administration. They just don't want to release the records of all the illegal aliens. That's why they're super rich. They use other people's money. Yeah. It's crazy. They've been aggressive crackdown on unqualified, illegally licensed commercial drivers. Yeah, but they like those illegally licensed drivers because it gets to drive up all the costs and everything. Every administration has had access to basic database, so we're clear that this ridiculous lawsuit's really about. These state AGs want to make it harder for my department to enforce the rules of the road. Yeah, it'll totally flop. Yeah, probably. What's it say? The local Nooksack tribe Indians kicked out 500 people from tribal housing for not having enough tribal blood. Sounds pretty base, blood and soil. Yeah, there you go.
Is threatening to withhold federal funds to the states that don't hand over the data. And attorneys general now from more than 20 different states are suing to block the information. Marcus Coleman's daughter, Delilah, was severely injured when they were hit by a truck driven by a man in the U.S. illegally back in 2024. She just went through another brain surgery. Coleman says his family has been changed forever as sanctuary politicians favor illegal immigrants over the safety of someone like his daughter.
The government already has that information to begin with. We're not big brothering anybody. We're making sure that the person who has a driver license is the person who's supposed to have the driver license. Not to mention, the only people that are trying to stop this from going through are the people who have something to hide.
Now, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says many of these drivers don't have the language skills to read road signs and the knowledge to safely operate a big rig on American roads. And all the administration wants is to know who they are.
22 states, liberal states, have sued me to make sure I can't get that information because they know that we're going to take illegals off American roads. And so what's happening here is you have these liberal states actually siding with an illegal truck driver over the safety of an American citizen. It shows how perverse these radical leftists have become.
Now, at the end of July, the president announced he wanted to replace illegal truck drivers with veterans who'd been driving big rigs in service to the United States. Now, with the Freedom Haulers program, the president wants to allow veterans who drove trucks downrange to skip all the road testing and quickly acquire their commercial driver's license. Sandra, back to you.
All right, Mike Tobin, live on that out of Chicago.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, so they're trying everything they can. They're trying everything they can to not make anybody send ICE in with massive raids. That would be great. That would be great. That would be great. Well, unfortunately, we didn't hit the goal for the second hour, but don't fear. Tomorrow's another day. We'll try again. And I have somewhere for everyone to go. If you need more Jim, you can see me on another channel. I'm going to send you there on YouTube. On Rumble, I'm going to send you somewhere else because they don't have a Rumble stream going. But I want to thank everybody who's been here. And please remind you to please hit the like button. Please subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Please become a member if you want to. And please check out the King of Biltong. He's a good guy and he does great work and he supports the show a lot. So come back tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern time for Jim to tell you the news.